Oh, great. Oh, wow, we're up. All right. All right, we're up. There we go. Oh, wow, we're up. All right. All right, we're up. Hello, Inabag. There we go. Oh, I need my glasses. Oh, wow, we're up. Good. All right, we're up. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. Please let me know if you can hear me. Hello, Inabag, Teresa, Hyderin, Kelly B, hello. Hi, Kat, hi from Ontario, Canada. Thank you for joining us. Cynthia Goss, hello, everybody. Brenda Chick. Oh, Brenda, how are you doing, honey? Definitely sending you positive vibes and good energy, Brenda, okay? Praying for you. Take care. Gretchen Misogian, I hope I'm not butchering that. I do apologize. Hello. Sis, hello. Kelly B, yay. Hello. Beautiful you too. Chance Fate, hello. Haley, hi. Terry Hall, hello. Jacqueline Nell, hello from Australia. Yay. Yeah, Jacqueline, how are you? Tammy Smith, hello. Haley, hope you're well. Yes, ma'am, I am. Thank you for asking. And yourself? Kathleen Cheney, hello, beautiful kids. Oh my God, you guys are so polite and so generous with your compliments. Thank you, Kathleen. Tammy Smith, I can hear. Yay, Kat, yes, I can hear you. Hello from New Zealand. Linda Jensen, hi. Oh, you're welcome, Brenda. Tainted Meat, girl, I gotta love your love your username, Tainted Meat. It's so funny. Hello from England, hi. Gretchen, yes, thank you. I was able to say it right. Delvin H, good morning, everybody. Yeah, for me, you know what the time is right now? It is 5:25 a.m. So I am 10 and a half hours ahead of Central Standard Time in Texas. So I got my tea today. I'm having my cup of tea. So good morning, hello, good day. Good evening from Tennessee. Delvin H. Linda, I'm in New Zealand too. Christine Van Buren. Hello from, Wisconsin was it? Yeah. Wait, let me expand this a little bit. Come on. There we go. All right. You don't want to move, right? There we go. Then, let's talk about that, Haley. Because I think I made a note of it. Leah Croucher, right? All right. So our main topic is on religion tonight. Yes. Yes, I was up. I actually, you know what, Delvin, I pulled an all-nighter almost. I got 2 hours of sleep last night. Miss Slinky Moon, hello. Kelly B from Delaware, hello. So I was super busy yesterday. I had a whole bunch of appointments and haven't felt good all day. But wait, I got to have my glasses. Brenda says, yeah, but I am doing good, Brenda. You need to kind of really focus on your health, and I'm sure you will. Thank you. It's my birthday. Oh, is it your birthday today? Well, look, happy birthday, Darwin. Cheers and happy birthday to you. There you go. Yes, I am an early bird. Well, right now I feel like going back to bed, but I will probably sometime during the day take a little nap. So as I was saying, I was Sassy T, BC Free, hello. Some of you guys, your usernames are so cool and so funny, they crack me up, seriously, in a nice way. So Kelly B says, oh, only 2 hours. Yeah, so I'm not complaining. I mean, I love it, but at times it kind of drains me. As long as I am able during the day, catch an hour's nap or whatever is fine. And I also made a mistake. I was like super busy today. So at about I want to say at about 3:30, I kind of was sitting on the couch and I dozed off. Like I felt hard, like for about 45 minutes, and then I woke up with a start because my alarm went off as I had another appointment. Then I did some impromptu live streams, and then I had some other work I had to take care of and take care of and get it out of the way. So I went to bed at 1 o'clock. And I woke up, I want to say at 3:15. Again, I woke up with a start. I had actually set my alarm for 5 a.m. I woke up at 3:15 because I'm so wired. And then guess which ding dong was in my mind the moment I woke up? Aiden Forchi. And I was so mad. I was so mad. I'm like, why are you in my head? Get out of my head. So there's a reason why those things happen, right? So like I said, if you all watch my live stream that I did last night, I was talking about Aiden, but I kept using, I was talking about Aiden, but I kept saying Tristan Bailey. And I didn't catch it for the longest time. And Terry Hall says, you are so completely genuine and sweet. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words. Linda Stewart, good evening from Alabama. Thank you for being with us, Linda. Then we have Sherilyn Schaffner. Hello. Kelly B. Oh my God. Kelly, just so you know, it's not my birthday today. My birthday is actually on November 23rd. Okay. Wait, what's this? Of course, November 23rd, but somebody else said it was their birthday. I'm just using this mug, honey. I just want to be totally transparent with you. It's not my birthday today. I was wishing somebody else who said it's her birthday, but your generosity is highly appreciated. And of course, if you wish, you could retract that because you might have misunderstood that it was my birthday, but I really do appreciate you, even Anyway, so... wait, what? The past few days, I know it would give me nightmares too. The boy is pure evil, no kidding. Wait, I missed something. Let's chat a little bit for the first few minutes, and then if you are, thank you, Haley. The past few days I have had a lot of energy, not good sleep, but yeah, that's true too. Scout Inquirer, greetings and love from New York. Hello. Leslie Theunison, hello from Mississippi. I'm glad you joined us. Okay. No, don't be sorry, Kelly. Absolutely. And if you care to withdraw that, please do. No offense meant. I don't take offense or nothing, but your kindness and your generosity, just the fact that you're here also is so much more valuable, right? Brenda Chick says your brother's birthday is November 25th. Oh, so what was I saying? Oh, dang. So as I was talking about Aiden, okay, I think for a good 10, maybe for a good 20 minutes, I'm sure if you see that live recording, that video, you'll know. I was talking about him, but I kept saying Kristen Bailey. And then somewhere along the line, I caught myself and I was so mad at myself. I'm like, why am I using her name when I'm talking about this fool? And then I realized because her energy was wanting to come through so forcefully, and I didn't get it because I was in La La Land doing my stuff. And Texas Patriot, hello. So then of course I corrected myself. And just for people, for you guys, wait, who's this? Sherilyn, thank you so much. Thank you. I do appreciate you. Thank you very, very much for your contributions. And then we have Rosalie Hatch, hi from Halifax, Nova Scotia. It's beautiful there, isn't it? Thank you for joining us, Rosalie. So I did correct myself. And sometimes you guys, these things, Delvin from Texas, hey! So, yeah, I'm from Texas too, right? Yeah. Anyway, wait, I'm from planet Earth. How about we say that? We're all from planet Earth, right? Be a little sassy and put a spin to it, right? So, thank you, Sherilyn. So, what was I saying? Yeah, and then I corrected myself, and then it hit me. It's like, stop talking about this goofy, because Tristan is coming forward and she was telling me, like she was knocking on the door saying, I want to come through, I want to come. Energy does that, y'all. And I think I've said it, like when people want to, thank you so much for Tristan Bailey. Yeah, you know what, there's another video coming. So when energy wants to come through sometimes like that, you can't help it, you have to force. But I didn't get the message because I was so wrapped up in talking about this fellow. And that's another thing I say when people call and they want to get a reading done. Sherilyn Shofna says she was born in Dallas. So I say don't have high expectations, because did you also notice when you said Tristan had a deviated septum, you had to, yes, Jacqueline, yes. Oh, Brenda, you're from Toledo, Ohio. So anyway, so I tell them, look, don't force it. Sometimes, like we want to talk about a grandpa or grandma, whatever, they passed on. But they may not necessarily be the ones who want to come forward. There could be somebody else who's saying, no, I want to talk, I have a lot to say, I need to talk. So we cannot control these energies. And I've also said that it's weird how some words and sentences like keep coming forward, like keep getting pushed out, like forcefully almost, and it won't make any sense at all. It's like, what are you talking about? You went from this to this to this, like, not all the time, I agree. I have that thing of squirrel at times, don't get me wrong, but you all can tell. So when certain sentences and words are repeated and it kind of doesn't make sense, there is a reason why. It's just that, like I said, connecting the dots for me as a psychic and a medium, sometimes it doesn't, it's not like, okay, they've written down a script and they say, here, go read it. It's not like that. So bear with me about that, okay? So did you also notice when you said, yes, I did. So, of course, I've moved my computer shortly. Janet Kola, good morning, all from Brisbane, Australia. Hey, Janet. Yeah, you're about 4.5 hours ahead of me, right, Janet? Yeah. So, Texas Patriot, hello. Okay. Yeah. So what I did, y'all, is I made a note of all the suggestions, okay? And I have to cross this one out because I did this yesterday, right? There we go. So I'm going to read out these names, okay, because I had to go through my emails, and there are some people who have made suggestions on my Facebook page again, so I have to go there and I have to look at it. Maine Kind, oh, that's a really cool name. Hello from Southern Maine, USA. Hello, Maine lobsters, y'all. I want to go there, just eat lobsters. Chances Fate, hello everybody. Kelly B, poor Tristan Bailey, she was too young to be taken so violently. It's so sad. How are her parents living next to his parents still? I would have to move. Yeah, I know. I mean, can you imagine? So I have made a list, and then of course, yes, it's 10:05 a.m. here, right, Janet? So I made a list and I'm going to read that list, okay? I'm not going to mention the name of people who have suggested this, because some of them multiple people have suggested the same, so don't take offense. Grace Green, hello. So if you all have any suggestions, put it here in the comment section, because once we're done and this gets posted, I'll go back and pick out those names again and note it down. Okay, I have Christina Lee White, Justice Evans, okay. Then I have Lisa Knight, Keith Bennett, Skelton Brothers, Evansdale Cousins, Haley Dunn, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm going to do that shortly. Haley said, oh Haley, thank you so much. I appreciate your kindness and generosity. I love that little thingy. It's so cute. It is so cool. Catskills 20. Hello everyone. Wishing everybody a great night, well, or a great day. Okay. So then Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Then of course Tristan Bailey. I'm also going to do one for Prince Philip. Then Chance Engelbert, Skylar Peterson, Jason Landry, Nicole Kissinger. I said I was going to do one. I think I'll do, you know what I'll do? I think I'll do Nicole Kissinger and Jeffrey Epstein within the next day or so and post it, okay? So Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell will be one. Nicole Kissinger will be another, because I think some time ago I had said, wait, who am I missing? Kelly B. Skelton Brothers, just break my, I don't know anything about that case, but anywho. Then we have Marina Pearl, Bianca Noel Piper, Gannon Storch, then Tyler Stick, Alisa Turney, Keslin Roberts, Tracy Wills, Rhonda Lawson, oh, why is that name here? Maura Murray, Kenneka Jenkins. I know Yeah, I see. I don't know about the skeleton, but a lot of these cases, like I don't know because one thing I will say, Gannon, that little kid, from the word get go, I knew it was that woman, and he didn't die a good death. That poor child, and you look at his face. Oh my goodness, that poor baby was tortured. Have read on, yes, I have done a reading on Suzanne Morphew. Yes, ma'am, I have. Yes, Nicole Kissinger. Yes, yes. Oh, she's, yeah. Let me tell you, Nicole Kissinger is a whole nother level. I mean, and her father really, I don't know whether he's still alive or not, but her father really helped her get out of that mess. Okay, I did a Xavier Harrelson, and there was another kid with Xavier Harrelson. Who was that? Xavier Harrelson and another young boy, them both together. Case suggestion: Eric Cates was a 32-year-old male that was found burned in his vehicle in Walker County. Okay. Okay, I'm going to make a note of. Once, I'm not going to write it down now, Catskills 20, but once I'm done, I go through the comment sections, then I'm going to write it down. But yes, definitely. Yeah, that Gannon, that child, oh my God. Okay, let's not get off topic. Okay, so here we go again. The premise of this video, actually, let me see if I can get this here. So, hang on, you guys. Ooh. Okay, well, that's another thing because I'm unable to see the comments without my glasses. Let me move this whole contraption over here. There we go. Okay, there we go, guys. Sorry, I had to make some arrangements. There we go. So now, not only can I, like we're face to face, I can also see these comments. You're like, these cases sometimes, man. Okay, can you pick up on locations? Wait, Haley. Yes, I can pick up on locations. Your light is flickering, That's another thing, y'all. It's, you watch, I guarantee there'll be a couple of orbs floating around. New case brewing, Angela Tremont and Dario Dizdar. I didn't know. Texas Patriot, I will make a note of that. You were right at William Terrell, the 4-year-old abducted here. Just this week, they have a person of interest that they previously interviewed, and he was bragging about his deed to people. Oh my goodness, Janet, I hope they get him, and I hope. Shh. Catskill, she says, thank you, honey. Thank you for all of y'all, for your comments, your suggestions, for joining us. Yeah, but I'm so happy too that they caught whoever this fool is, but I try, y'all. I try my best, to watch my words, because sometimes, in the moment of passion or anger or whatever, like yesterday, I let out a ASS word, which I was like, oh shoot. So, and on a lighter note, I got a lot of comments from people, and of course, people were emailing. I have very good friends, who watch all of my videos, and they were texting me on WhatsApp, and they were like, I can't believe some of the things you say. Like, I was like, phrases and stuff. I'm like, what can I say? Hey, I suppose I'm slightly. So, it's been 7 years. Janet Kolar says, you know what? See, that's another sad thing with a lot of these cases, they have the guys, but because of insufficient, how in the legal thingy system, there's so much of gray area there that, they try to say, oh, insufficient evidence, or even the district attorney says, oh, I cannot give you a search warrant, or I cannot do XYZ. And unfortunately, these detectives also know, some of them, they have to let these guys go. And it can be really, really frustrating for them too. We have to acknowledge that, because they have worked so hard bringing these nasty people into the jail or the police station, and then after all that stuff, they have to let them go. And can you imagine, like, psychologically how it would affect the cop or the detective when he or she knows that, like, he or she is the one, but we are forced to let him go because of legal? And that's so frustrating. That would drive me nuts. So So I've seen the arms. Yeah, yeah, I know. Chances it was an appropriate curse word. I don't think he was slightly mad. Thank you, Laurie. So let's get on to today's subject, okay? And before I start, of course, we're going to segue into a whole bunch of things. I mean, I'm very cognizant of that. But for the most part, let's kind of focus on the subject at hand and not get too waylaid. Watch, I'll be the first person to do that. So I wanted to talk about religion, organized religion, okay? And before I go any further, I want to say the premise here is not to badmouth any particular religion or to in any way, shape or form say, hey, this religion is better than the other. I'm not pushing my agenda on anybody. That's not the issue at all. So yeah, Brenda says there's not much they could do without evidence. That's true. So if you go back in history and you look, okay, and of course we can get into a whole different conversation of, is there a God and who is God? Is God a male or a female? And, what is the real God? Is there one God? And who is that one God? And, we could, you did, Marie? So, okay, we can get into all of that. Of course, you ask the Christians, they'll say Jesus and, that sort of stuff. Then you ask the Muslims, they'll say Allah. Then you ask the Hindus, they'll say whoever it is. The Buddhists, they'll say, it is Buddha, and, so on and so forth. So every sect of people or every group of people who believe in a certain religion, they are going to say, my God is the God. It's natural, right? So who created God, or the concept of God, who created the concept of religion? That's a whole nother thing. But if you look at it purely from a human psychology perspective, for whatever reason, you go back way ages ago, right? It's all about power. It's all about control. You go back any number of years, 100 years, 2,000 years, whenever modern civilization really started evolving and changing. So how there always has to be a leader, right? By default, the strongest person became the leader of the group. And go back to the Neanderthal days. Lisa Jones, thank you so much. I appreciate your kindness and thank you for joining us. So we go back to Neanderthal. It's even today. You look at the animal kingdom. It's all about the strongest leading the pack. The strongest is the one who sets the ground rules. The strongest is the one who guards and takes responsibility for his or her pride or her herd of elephants or pride of lion or pride of zebra or herd of zebra, whatever that may be, right? So during the evolution of humanity per se or modern civilization, the concept of being a leader started building up and picking up momentum. So at some point in time, to keep people together, right, and you have to really delve into the psychology aspect of our minds, right? The different ways we can control people. How can we control people? Through money, of course, we know that. Through physical power, like basically overpower them type of thing. And to also have some innate knowledge or some innate power over them, and that could be, in today's world, it could be financial institutions having power over us. It could be, let's use God, because God is a mysterious thing and nobody has really seen God. Nobody has felt, and it's not a tangible thing. So we create this. I'm not saying God is an illusion. I'm not saying this. We create this illusionarily accented, emphasized image, okay, of God, and then the fear of the unknown plays into that, because as human beings we all have the fear of the unknown. It's natural. So if you bring in a God element to anything, what's she saying? I'm so grateful for your psychological and sociological knowledge and wisdom, Kirtana. Thank you. I'm a mixed bag of nuts for sure. Raised Catholic, became a Wiccan, and recently learning about my Irish and Welsh Druid family. Kelly, that's a phenomenal thing, right? So anyhow, so when we bring into the picture the fear of the unknown, and in this case, the unknown is God. Not many people have complete thorough knowledge of God. Then this small group or this concentrated sect of people, be it men or women, they start utilizing that as a power, as a way to control and as a power tool, right? So then they start calling the shots, okay? Now we can go back and have another conversation of, is the Bible real, is the Quran real, is the Bhagavad Gita real, is whatever real, who wrote it, what is the guarantee, like all the people who actually were witness to who wrote it, they're all passed, where's the evidence, where's the guarantee? We can get into all of that later. That's almost like political religious thing, so let's leave that aside, right? Ability to control the masses, yes, from a psychological manipulation point of view, yeah, absolutely. So if you came at me and you say, what is your true opinion of religion, any religion? The way I look at it, okay, regardless of who wrote the religion or who started the religion, I'm not talking about cults, I'm talking about traditional religion, mainstream religion. The premise of any religion, or most of these religions, is for the goodness of mankind. Be good, be nice, help your neighbor, don't do evil, don't do, that's the thing. But here's the problem. It's the interpretation of that religion and misinterpretation of those religious norms that certain groups, such as priests, etc., or pastors or priests or whoever you call them, that purposefully misinterpret them, purposefully twist them, modify them, and push that agenda onto the people who are following them to gain control. This is sensitive, again, be known, and I am not condoning, pushing, supporting any specific religion at all. If you read the Quran, okay, and there's always this joke, right? They're going to go see 72 virgins and all that stuff. Let's leave those jokes aside. The original premise of saying Muslim men, they were allowed to marry 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever the number is of women, was because in the good old days, as we know, the Muslim world, they are very tribal people. You have the Shias and you have the Sunnis, right? Very tribal. So you can imagine, going to war. The men are the ones who typically go to war. Kelly B, thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. They go to war, and typically they are the ones who end up getting killed. What happens to the women that they have left behind? So to avoid these women falling into despair, falling into hardships, the surviving men took on the responsibility of caring for these women. That is the premise for the Quran, that don't let them go to, ruin, you take care of them. That is the purest form of this. But over the period of time, it started becoming it was conveniently twisted and misinterpreted. And it started becoming this thing that, the Quran says that every Muslim man must have 4, 5, 6 wives. That's a bunch of bullcrap. It's absolutely flat out bullcrap. Okay? Now, let's talk about, so I can talk about these kind of examples in every single religion. Absolutely in every single religion. There's another thing I want to say that is very, very, I have strongly believed in this. In the Buddhist community, wait, I'm missing something. Dalisa Taylor, hello Kirtana, hi everybody. Pamela Strickman, hi. I'm spiritual. There is a lot of difference between spirituality and religion. Absolutely, Lisa, absolutely. Kelly B says, I love learning about culture and different religions. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about this, okay? We know a lot of religions worldwide: Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, ABC, Baha'i faith, the Zoroastrians, the Sunnis, the Shias, and there are any number of different religions and faiths around. I'm not talking about cults. We'll get into that in a minute. So they believe that these priests, they have to be absolute virgins, they have to give up the worldly experiences, give up all of that stuff, and then go into the faith, and then they're forever, a monk and lead a pristine life and, do that sort of thing. So let's break that down a little bit, okay? What is the benefit of that? Why do you say that if you want to join and become a monk, and if you want to become a priest, you're not allowed to have a family, you cannot have relationships, be it man or woman, same sex or the opposite sex, you're not allowed to do that, because somehow having those life experiences sullies your soul and sullies yourself. Therefore, you're not pure enough to go and be a man of God or a woman of God. I think that's a bunch of baloney. Okay? Who determines who is pure or not? Who determines that? Yeah, we can take it to the other extreme. Like all these people who go around, was the nymphomaniacs and who molest people sexually and do all that stuff. They are clearly impure people, right? They are absolutely not nymphomaniacs. That's a psychological issue. But these molesters and murderers and all these, those people don't deserve that. I get it. But normal human beings, normal experiences, nobody is forcing anything on them. They are not forcing anything on them. I feel religion per se, modern religion, should allow people who have had already these experiences to join and then become a monk or a pastor or a whoever, or preacher or whatever. Because I feel these life experiences, having experienced these multitude of life experiences, gives these people a better perspective on life, and they've already experienced it. Therefore, they can make informed, educated decisions and then say, I have experienced this is not for me. Now I'm willing to make the transition and go into the faith. And once they go and join this faith, is it the end of it? Do they sign their life off? God didn't say, once you come to my faith, there is no way out, the door is going to be shut on you and you cannot go back in the world. Did God really say that? Show me which God said that. Show me proof, I need to see. Because if God made us human beings to exist, as free people, free individuals, to exist and enjoy all the other good stuff that He's put on this world for us or on this earth for us, I'm pretty sure I can take a bet that, if I were to sit across the room and have a conversation with God, He's definitely going to say, I didn't say that, you're almost coming into a jail-like system and that's the only way you can serve me the best. That's a bunch of bull crap. No wonder you go and look at the church, Catholic Church, Protestant Church, Hindu religion, the Muslim, or whatever the schools they have, where it's all these men who are preachers and all those little kids over there. You know how much of child molestation happens in all religions across the world under the name of religion, under the sheltered umbrella and protection of religion? It's not just Christianity, y'all. Wake up. It happens in Hinduism, it happens in Buddhism, it happens in Muslim, it happens in think about it. It does. Because these guys, think about, let's dial it back a step. We're all human beings. We all have urges, right? Sexual urges is a big thing. It's a big part of our psyche, a big part of our, the way we are wired. It's a big part of our existence. The imbalance happens is when we take that too far ahead, then everything gets twisted and ends up coming out different ways, like rape and molestation and all that. But this is part of us as human beings. This is part of our DNA. It's ingrained in us. What is wrong in having sexual relations comfortably without the fear of, they're going to shun me or whatever, right? So just because you have sexual relations and you have had these experiences doesn't make you an impure person and therefore not eligible to join a faith. That's bullcrap. That's why these people get so frustrated. How many of them, how can they control themselves? How can they control themselves? I truly believe, I am of the belief that if they say, look, you don't have to be a virgin, you don't have to abstain from sex, you don't have to do any of that, I genuinely feel that the percentage of abuse and molestation in churches and etc. and temples and whatever, mosques, is going to reduce to a great extent. I'm not going to say that it's going to be completely eliminated, because it won't. There are always going to be deviants everywhere, right? But for the most part, it's going to be reduced. The other thing is, I have to say, okay, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, okay? But I have to say, it doesn't just happen in the church, it happens all over. How often have we seen cases where people trust the coach, people trust the teacher too much, they just turn a blind eye? How often have we seen parents go leave their kids in Sunday school and the choir boys and all, and they are so entrusting of these people, these church people or these temple people or these God people, that they turn a complete blind eye. Why are you so trusting of somebody who claims to have direct connections to God? Here's the thing. What is so special about a priest or a pastor or a preacher or a monk or a temple preacher or a mosque mullah? What is so special about him or her that if you as an individual want to have a conversation with God, you have to go through this person. Did any God anywhere in the world from any religion say, if you Kirtana, if you Melissa, if you Jane, if you John, if you Ted, if you Tom, Dick or Harry or Jane Doe, whatever, if you want to have a conversation with me, you have to go through this other individual to come to me. That's a bunch of BS. What makes that priest or pastor or whoever special? Tell me who made that person special? It's like having another position in an office, y'all. Think about it. I'll tell you this incident. I can speak from my personal experience. My family is not like overly religious, but they are like, because of the culture, like my parents and all that, we followed all the norms of celebrations and, all the like festivals of Christmas and this and that. We celebrated all of that. So I remember one time when I was probably 9 or 10 years old, we had gone to a place of worship, and my mom had said, okay, take the blessings of whoever the God man is. And I flat out refused. I'm surprised my mom didn't smack me that day in front of everybody, because little kid, what the heck do I know, right? I was like, no, I'm not. And she's like, she was staring at me and making those eyes, how moms are, they give you that look and you basically pee your pants. And I stood my ground and I was like, no, I'm not. And then everybody kind of, this conversation happened, and then and then suddenly people started noticing that something's going. We weren't yelling or screaming, but you can tell when the energy shifts. So everybody was watching us, and there were a lot of people there who knew us, right? And even the God people, right? And whatever you call them, I shouldn't call them God people, even the people who work for the religious organization. And they were all, and he was like, it's okay, Mrs. Reddy, she's a child, she doesn't understand, it's okay. And for my mom, and I don't blame her, okay, because that's the way she was raised and those were her convictions and her beliefs. So I do not blame her at all. That's what she believed in, or that's the way her mind worked, and she accepted that. And it's okay. And my mom was like, no, she has to learn. And I was like, no, Ma, I'm not going to learn. I'm not going to do it. And finally, she got exasperated with me, and she just stopped talking. And then whatever we had to do, we finished and we went home. And all through the drive back home, she didn't say a word. And when we came back home, she was really mad at me. She said, you disrespected me. You cannot do that. And, I see something orange here. I have to read because I need my glasses. Carol Light, I enjoy all your videos. I like that you're so down to it. Thank you, Carol. I so appreciate your comment and your generosity. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you. Girl, what can I say? This is me, okay? I call it the way I see it. There's so many suspicious deeds by the Catholic Church. Vatican has 75 artifacts at the museum, but only 30 came on display. Yeah. Oh, I can tell you a whole bunch about the Vatican, okay? Whole bunch. Anyhow. So she's like, and I'm an only child, right? I was raised in a very structured family with, rules and regulations, in the sense that it wasn't a military family, but, there were certain things, my dad, let me back up. My dad comes from a very big family, okay? There are 10 surviving siblings. When I remember, of course now a lot of them have passed, but before that there were actually 13 siblings. So as they were growing up, 2 daughters and a son passed. So surviving were 10. On my mother's side, they were supposed to be 9, but 8 surviving. 5 daughters and 3 sisters. Now my mom is the oldest on her side. My dad is the 5th oldest or something, eldest. And his father died my grandpa died when he was 52, 53. So my father had to take on the responsibility of the rest of the family, in the sense that his older brother and the 2 sisters, or somebody who were already married, they were already out of the family. And so my dad was a 4th, I think, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So it was my dad's responsibility to take care of the rest of the family. And my dad actually subsequently got married a little later in life. In today's world, it's not late. I think he got married when he was 32 or 33 or something, or 34. Those days it was like, oh my God, right? So anywho, and so where was I going with this? So having been brought up in a family where, culturally we were very cognizant, and we celebrated our culture, we celebrated the fact of, who we were, our religion or faith, we accepted it, so there were strict norms, like, we do this, that, and the other, but we were not like so religious, like so hardcore religious. But having said that, we did go to the place of worship, we did do all those things, but not on every Sunday, every Friday type of thing, we didn't do that. We were more like ritualistic, like doing all the stuff at home rather than actually go to a place of worship. But my mom was very upset. She said, that's not the way I raised you. You disrespected me. You cannot be behaving like that. What are people going to think? Everybody is going to know about this, yada, yada. And I sat down and I said, I don't believe. My question to her was, 8-9-year-old child, my question to her was, who is he? Who made him special? So if I want to talk to God, I cannot pick up the phone and call God. I have to go ask him to take my messages to God. Did God say that if you want to send me any information or if you have any questions for me, you have to go through him? No, I can have my own conversations with God. Every day I speak to God on my own. I don't need anybody to interpret me. I literally said that to my mom. Believe it or not, after that day, she never, ever, ever, ever told me, do this, do that, do this, do that. Never. She would say, I'm going, do you want to join me? And most often my answer would be no. But at home, if we had to do any prayer or any whatever, I'd join her there. But I never bought into the concept of priests and pastors and that bunch of baloney. I never bought into it. That's just who I was. So why are we as people, sheeple, going to these churches and temples and mosques and what have you, and blindly believing that that person who's wearing that robe or that whatever, is automatically a better human being, a purer human being than us? Bull effing crap. Sorry guys, okay, now I'm getting wired. So that's okay, I promise I won't use any more bad words. So that's bull crap, y'all. Absolute nonsense. What makes them more special? Who are they? Who put them in that position? Just like politicians, we give them the power and then they go start misusing the power and it backfires on us. We as a people, as human beings, need to take back that power. We don't need anybody to take our messages to God. Why? That person is a human being just like us. That person is capable of emotions like us, capable of anger, capable of mistakes, capable of making boo-boos, just like us. There's nothing more extra, more pure, more special about these priests and pastors and whoever you call these people. That's absolutely bull crap. Let's stop. Okay, one more time. Just because I'm saying this, I'm not dissing any religion. Religion per se, yes, we need as human beings, as social creatures, for whatever reason, because it's so, religion and faith and God is so ingrained in us over millennia, we need to hang on to something that's intangible and almost mysterious, because we as a race, as a species, find solace in that, right? So that's okay, that's whatever. It's trying to understand, life and nature and all, whatever. So that's fine. But let us stop so blindly. I mean, the other day I was seeing something in the news where there was some pastor or preacher of one of those micro churches who's like, he had been making statements that he wanted a jet or something like that. And then people just went and gave him money. And he ended up buying that. All those TV pastors and TV church. I mean, seriously, guys. Do you see how much money they make, those people? And the moment I have seen so many, I can talk about this because I've been living in Texas for the past 5-6 years. I didn't see so much of this in Cali, but Texas I see it. That their church is cropping up like every other day, like literally every other street there's a church. And then, you know why? Here's what I'm going to call it. Tax write-off. You start any non-profit organization, you can make money hand over fist. I have on so many occasions, because we've seen some cases, I used to tell Mark, I said, why are we struggling and working so hard, get up in the morning and, like robotically almost, do what we have to, go to work, suffer fools unnecessarily, struggle with this, struggle with that, come back home so tired, end up paying half our income to the government. The government says, oh, you have to pay Social Security, you don't have a choice in it. So the government takes away half our earnings, okay, in the form of Social Security or this tax or that tax. At the end of the day, when we are ready to retire, now the government is saying we don't have enough money to give you Social Security after the year 2030 or whatever the heck that is. And now people who are going to retire now, they are losing 40% of their Social Security. Go look it up, you guys. Where's the sense in that? So the government forcefully takes your money and the government says, we will give it back to you when you return, and all of a sudden they say, oh sorry, all the money is gone, I don't have any money. So instead of giving you dollar to dollar, I'm going to give you 60 cents on the dollar, the other 40 cents, I don't know where it is gone. Really? So let's give up all this working around and spinning our tails and running around like headless chicken. Let's start a church. Because it's non-profit, you can write off so many expenses, and all these people, they end up with beautiful homes and beautiful this and beautiful that and living a comfortable life, because in the name of church, in the name of God, in the name of religion, they do all that. What the heck, you guys? Why are these people going and blindly giving them money? Okay, and it's one thing as a wealthier person who's more financially established and secure, if you want to go donate money, that's on you. But you look at the average percentage of donations that are made to these organizations, it comes more from the middle income and lower groups. You seriously think about it. Okay, and here we are struggle, we get all dressed and we are so well behaved and then we go and donate money over there. I'm like, why? Like, why? Where is that money going? Tell me, where is that money going? Somebody explain to me. You see these people building, like I can talk about the area where I live in Texas. We are actually, I'm sure by the time I go back home that church would have been built. Beautiful construction. I mean, I am sure that building would have costed nothing less than a couple of $1 million to build. I guarantee. Okay? All these fancy properties, and next thing you know, the pastor is wearing all these fancy suits, the pastor's wife is all well dressed, and then they have a nice house and a nice car. Where is all that money coming from? Why are we so blindly in the name of faith going and donating our hard-earned money? Okay, there are times when, you know, a lot of families, they don't have enough for 3 meals a day and whatever, a hard-earned money going and blindly giving it to these people in the name of God, in the name of religion, and you watch them before your eyes enjoy the fruits of your labor, and what are you getting out of it? Like seriously, do you really, it's almost like he's a consultant and you're paying the consultant money to talk to God on your behalf. Why did God say, you need a consultant, you need to come through a consultant, otherwise I'm not going to have a conversation with you? Seriously? Yeah. So let's go back. Let me see. To help during the worst of the crisis. Yes, Dalisa. You know, oh God, what's his face's name? That fellow who's the dark-haired fellow with curly hair. I was dragged literally to church at 13 years old. Haven't been back since the 90s. Not for me, thanks. Yeah. I heard that if the system isn't revised, we would lose as much as 78% of... Yes, it is true. It is true. I mean, I can speak from experience because, Mark was talking about, my boyfriend, we were talking about, we are not spring chicken, y'all. I mean, I'm 54 years old. He is, how old is Mark? Oh my goodness. He's 58, 59. So we're not spring chicken, right? I mean, we have to think about our retirement and, fixed income and all those things, right? And so he was so upset. He's like, the social security, I never bought into the social security thing, y'all. 401k and all that, I never bought into it. I used to put the very minimum I had to just because I had to. And you get a little tax, whatever. I never, like how a lot of people just blindly put into it, I never did. Even social security, whatever. Some things you were forced to do, you did, but the other things I was like very, very particular about where I wanted to put my money, how I wanted to put my money, even life insurance, right? You talk about like limited term and all that. You really do the math, how much money you invest or over a period of time and how much you get when it matures. And you do the math, if you take the same money and put it somewhere else, how much returns are going to get for the same period of time. It doesn't make sense. I never, ever bought into that. Having said that, we just found out that he is going to lose a lot of money in social security, and we are not like rich people where it doesn't matter, we don't need it, we are not. it does affect our livelihood. It does affect us going forward. I mean, I'm not financially dependent on him. He's not financially dependent on me. But at the same time, as a unit, yes, we are not married, but I suppose we are common law by now. As a unit, yeah, we are. It's we have to be cognizant about everything moving forward, right? So. It's very heartbreaking, and I see the stress in his face, because for him, old school thinking, right, you have to do this, you have to do this. I'm of a different mindset, so it hasn't affected me mentally as much. It hurt the pocketbook, but it hasn't affected me so deeply. But for him, it has. And I try to talk to him and tell him, look, there's nothing we can do about it, And he was like, we have to start a movement, we have to do. I said, look, understand this, that is a role that's going to be very burdensome, and I will never prevent anybody from taking action. But if you're willing to follow through to the end, knowing very well that it may not work out in your favor, go for it. But don't start it and go halfway through and then give up, because you're and it's going to affect your mindset, it's going to affect your health. If you're prepared to do that, go for it. Otherwise, just let it ride, just leave it. So, but then again, it's not just Mark. There's so many people who have, millions of people, man. How many people in America have lost money because of all this, the BS these people in government are doing? Okay. So let's read the comments and let's get foolish fools. Yeah, our churches, portals. Interesting question. My dad was a broke preacher. He preached in jails, prisons and shelters, and he was a father of 9 children. So again, like I said, y'all, we're talking about organized religion, okay? Again, Brenda, please don't take this personally. I am not specifically like going after, I'm not saying every preacher, every pastor, every monk, every mullah, every one of them are a bunch of scoundrels. I'm not saying that at all. As we all know, there are a lot of people, like in any profession, y'all, like in any profession, right? You have the good people and you have the bad people. So Brenda, I want to make sure you understand that. I am not picking and saying every one of these people are criminals. No. Like in any profession, you have the good ones and the bad ones. Unfortunately, in Brenda's case, her father was the exception who did what he did, and definitely didn't fall into the category of the majority of it. So he's the exception. So there are a lot of people who genuinely go and do all that stuff, but for the most part, we all know, right? We don't need to hide millions and millions of billions of dollars. I assume the churches, for every case that they've settled, right, in court. Can you imagine the cases they've settled out of court? Okay, let's talk about one thing. I think this is all the whatever that happened in 2, 3, 4 years ago. This old priest, I think it was the Catholic Church, the child was not cooperating or something while christening, and he actually smacked that child in front of the parents, like in front of the parents during the christening of the child. Do you all remember that case? Go look it up. And it was all caught on camera, and the mom tried to take the child away, and this dumbass priest wasn't giving the child to the mom, and physically they had to take the child back. Can you imagine? Why was that fellow not right then and there on the spot arrested and thrown in jail for physically abusing a baby, y'all, not even a child, a baby, in the presence of the parents and other people? It was all caught on video. And then, the church asked him to retire because he's 90 years old. I don't give a flying fiddlestick whether you're 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 90 years old. That is unacceptable. Just because you're wearing a robe and you're freaking 90 years old, you get away with stuff like that. Like, come here, I'm going to smack you in the gonads. Seriously. And how well the church said, he's old, he's this, he's that. Oh, I'm so sorry, he's had a good record. This has never happened before. I don't know what happened. Oh, I was just trying to calm the child. No, dude, no, you do not calm a baby by smacking a baby. You dumbass. Did he go to jail? No. Was he fined? No. Oh, the church just retired him. Heckin' eh? The church retired him, he still got his retirement. He's still living his life. So just because you're 90 years old, and I don't believe that for a moment, he didn't look like he was 90, it's acceptable for you to do it. If you're 90, you should be retired and sitting in your house or in a wheelchair. You probably have dementia, whatever the heck. How in God's world are you still practicing a particular profession? How? How do you let that happen? Somebody from the church answer me this question. Why was that fool, why was that criminal, why was that abuser, that molester not immediately cuffed and taken to prison? Somebody explain that to me. How do we not see stuff like this and keep quiet? Why was there not a crowd outside the church over there, but people saying, demanding he be arrested? People are afraid, oh, it's a church, it's God. Really? Really? Did God come to you and me and say, oh, it's okay, anybody who wears a robe or in the name of God or in my name, right, anybody who's working for me, they can do everything, it's okay, I'm okay with that. But you, on the other hand, because you are not working for me, you are not one of my own circle, you am going to hold you accountable for even dropping a pen on the floor. Did God say that? How did these holes in the behind get away with this? If he was able to do that right then and there in front of people, can you for a moment stop and think what else he could have done behind the scenes? Think about that. I'm not talking only about the church. I'm not talking about the Catholic Church or the Protestant Church. This happens even in the mosques. Okay? How many of those kids have come and said, we've been abused, and they get smacked, they get sexually abused, they get physically hit, beat. It happens in the Buddhist religion, it happens in the Baha'i religion, it happens in the Hindu religion, it happens in the Zoroastrian religion. You pick any number of religions in the world, it happens. That's nonsense. We as a people, we are all smart individuals. God has blessed us with some intelligence. We are capable of making cognizant, well-informed decisions. It is our responsibility to stand up and fight this dang system called organized religion and draw the line and say, no, stop being afraid that you're going to be persecuted by God. Think about that. See something, say something. How can you as a person go home and rest your head on the bed and not do anything when you have clearly seen injustice happen in front of you? Can you forgive yourself for that? When I say you, I'm not like blaming anybody. I am included in that, okay? Us as a people, right? Because God knows, if I see something, you think this mouth is going to shut up. So that's the issue with organized religion. None of us human beings really need to go to another person to represent us to God. No, we don't. We absolutely don't. Let us stop feeding into this frenzy of church. Let us stop feeding them money that they actually don't deserve. Like, you think about everything that the Vatican has, y'all. How did they acquire all that? Seriously, how did they acquire all that? You think the Vatican hasn't bumped off people? So if there's any hardcore Catholic, come at me, man. I'll talk to you about this. You think the Vatican has not bumped off people? You go back years and years ago, centuries ago. How many centuries, ever since the modern man has come into modern religion or organized religion and politics, they've always been like, oh, we have to keep the church and politics separate, church and government separate. You seriously think that even today, 2021, the church and politics are separated? You seriously think that? Absolutely not. Any government that comes into in the Western world, in the Christian world, they come into power, like the US presidents or the prime ministers or whatever, for the most part, chancellors or whatever. I can't say every one of them, but most of them, Protestant or Christian, I don't know, because I really don't care what religion they are of or from. You end up seeing them going to the Vatican to get blessings from the Pope. Why? Why do you need a Pope's blessing? Seriously, why do you need to? And you sit there and look at and watch their faces and their expressions. They are not there to genuinely get blessings from the Pope. They are there because it's a political move. Because of the control and the power the Vatican has over so many millions and millions of people in the world that follow Christianity, it's a political move. So then the votes come in, the Christian votes come in. Think about all that, y'all. It's all politically motivated, because you know how they say we want to do this to the minority communities because they want to get their votes. It's the same thing, right? The Vatican controls how much, and Vatican has so much money. So yeah, it's like, oh, I'm going to kiss your behind, so that now when the average public sees me going to the Vatican and kissing your behind, they're going to assume that I'm a religious person, ABC, and then I'm going to get their support. And unfortunately, us sheeple will believe it and we do it. Can we just stop with that? Can we stop for a moment? Can we step back, use the intelligence and the smarts that God has blessed every one of us, okay? And think for ourselves. Let us stop other people from making such decisions for us, okay? Let's stop with that. The church goes to this country, that continent, and then they build all these fancy things and all that. You are buying people's faith. You are buying their faith. How is that fair? Okay, stop with the church or organized religion. Wait, some comments are missing. You guys are still listening to my voice? Okay. Let's see. Don't get me started on the mega churches. I love that emoji. Chance's fate, yeah. Can you start the Kirtana Church of Common Sense? Oh, that's too funny. Y'all, I don't in any way, shape or form never thought of myself to be, perfect. God knows I'm not. I am so not perfect. I have my I have my moments of craziness, the moments, I'm just me. I just speak my mind. A lot of people may think that what I'm saying or whatever is, she's nuts or whatever, and that's fine. But I just speak my mind. I think about these things, I don't just blindly go and believe it. I always step back and take a moment to figure things out and come to my own conclusions. I have never bought into these things from the very beginning. Maybe there's a reason why I'm like that. Maybe I just popped out that way. My poor mom. Oh God, I'll never forget that conversation. And even I raised my kids that way. I never forced them. I never said, oh, let's go to the temple, let's go to the church, let's do this, let's do that. If you want to go, let's go. If I go, I'll go. But please don't expect me to roll over and bend over and fall at anybody's feet just because he's a God person. I won't do that, okay? So any church in power has abuses, absolutely. It's up to us to make sure our kids are safe and the evil ones are held, absolutely. I was raised Christian and Pentecostal exorcisms and all. I left that as soon as I was able to. I'm still traumatized, yes. So somebody asked me a question if it was a portal to, who was that? Yes, you did spell my name correctly, Brenda, thank you. Somebody, okay, let's delve into that a little bit. Let's talk about exorcisms and this and that and all that stuff. So, wait. Somewhere I've heard that if the system isn't, yes, okay. They use fear of where a person will go when they die. They spread fear, no thank you, in the pastor's pockets, yes. Google Joel Osteen, thank you Brenda, that's the guy. None of the mega churches, but you know what? I will say, I have to hand it to these guys, man. They have their PR teams, they have their designers, their wardrobe assistants, they're like movie stars, all these pastors, new age pastors, right? Look at the way they're dressed, so well coordinated, and you watch Joel Osteen's interviews, he's very smart at sidestepping and giving you direct answers. Smart guy, these guys, it's a business for them. His dad was a pastor, he took it over. How many of them have inherited that pastorship or whatever for these new age churches, right? Somebody's husband died and she became the pastor and whatever. It's like people just blindly follow. It's almost like, oh, you're so-and-so's wife and so-and-so's son, so therefore you must be good, so we are still going to continue to follow. That's stupid. That's your bad. You did that to yourself. Like, what can I say, right? Then none of the mega churches step forward to help. Yeah, Joel Osteen is one of them. The cross makes a portal in the many deep, in the many. Yes, religion doesn't own us. We all have and own our own personal connections. Absolutely, they have a license to abuse young and old, which is true. That's why they always end up mixing religion with politics. Yes, religion and government. Yes. Okay, so let's go into this portal thing and then we'll get on with it, okay? So, one thing I will say, I won't say God and the devil, I'm not going to say that. Common sense, if there's light, there's dark. If there's positive, there's negative. If there's good, there's bad. If there's man, there's woman. If it's daytime, there's nighttime. If you have the sky, you have the earth. So you have to have these polarities, right, to make everything a whole. Like without the sky, we wouldn't have an earth. Without the dirt below our feet, we wouldn't have the earth. Without water, there's no earth. Without the ozone, there's no earth, right? So all of these are a package deal, and that is what makes earth, right? So that way, if you look at things like that, how do you, we cannot, if they're sweet, they're salt, right? It has to. So we cannot say one can exist without the other, because it cannot. So let's call it evil and good, right? So yes, people under the pretext of church, under the pretext of religion, under the shroud of religion, under the protection of that umbrella, have for millennia done a lot of nasty stuff. Okay, you go back and read history and talk about the Freemasons and talk about this and talk about that, and you actually don't just, you read it like a book and sit back and form your own conclusions and investigate. Use your investigator cloak and say, well, why are they saying this? Like, how does it make sense? You know, if you really investigate and think from a neutral perspective, you will get a better understanding as to how much nonsense the church does, or organized religion does, even in the Muslim faith, even in the Hindu religion, in the Buddhism faith, in whatever other religion, even they have exorcisms and possessions and this and that and all that. It's not just in the Christian faith. Here's what I have to say. There is negative energy. There's positive energy. So let's call this negative energy. You can call it the devil, you can call it evil, you can call it's just a name, right? So this negative energy, the dark energy and light energy is all around us, right? So yes, if we are not strong of mind, if for whatever reason we tend to absorb negative energy more, and negative energy will make us behave and conduct ourselves in a way that is very unnatural, and it's not the norm, and end up doing all kinds of crazy things. Negative energy, again, I'm not going to say evil, I'm just going to use the word negative energy, okay? Negative energy, yes, has driven people to murder, to suicide, to this, to that, all that. We know about possessions, right? What is a possession? It is when these your body, negative energies, invade your energy space, your spiritual space, and invade your body and literally take over your persona, and therefore you are behaving in a manner not that is genuine and not that is original as in your own self, but you're behaving in a manner, you almost become this negative energy. You take on that persona and do things that are unnatural. Okay, that's the best way I can say or explain possession per se. Under the name and under the pretext of the church, they have said, oh, we'll go to this exorcism, we'll go to this, we'll go to that. Now, let's take the most famous movie that has ever rolled out of Hollywood, The Exorcism. They say it's based on a true story, correct? How they call the church and the pastor, and I've seen that movie all. I mean, I remember, I don't know, I was probably a preteen when I went to see the movie, and my mom told me, oh, don't go and see the movie, and I didn't listen. And even at a young age, I was tall, so I could pass off as a 15-year-old. I mean, if you look at my face, you can say I was a baby, but I could pass off as a 15-year-old because I was a tall child. And my cousins were like, it's okay, we'll take you, come with us. Curiosity kills the cat, right? So I was like, oh, it's just a little scary movie, we'll go. Oh my God, I wouldn't sleep alone for a week after that, y'all. But hey, that movie, then the Damien, and then the Jaws. Those are three movies that gave me the heebie-jeebies because I was so scared. I wouldn't get into a pool for a while, for almost a while after I saw Jaws. Forget about going to the beach or the ocean. I wouldn't even get into a pool. Jeez. Yeah, that's me. So, because it was so real, and I also went to the studios in Cali, you know, where they shot the thing, what Universal Studios, or what studios was it? I don't remember. You know, you go on those rides and all that, and then this Jaws thing comes out of the water, and of course you're all excited, you want to sit on the outside, you don't want to sit on the inside because you want that real experience. My bad. Oh, I almost peed my pants. It was scary. Anyway, so when they take these cases, like for example The Exorcist or whatever, and they said we had to go and we had to, you know, exorcise that person, he or she was possessed by 20 different spirits and 20 different characters, and do this and do that, and we had to exercise them and all, we had to go through all of these things. I'm not going to write it off as bah humbug, because these things happen, possessions happen, energies infiltrate your system. That's all true. There is no doubting that. I've seen that before my eyes. I've actually been witness to an active possession. But there's the science aspect of it, and people say it's a psychological thing. In some cases, they've actually been able to resolve it because it really was a question of multiple personalities and so on and so forth, or psychological issues, and they were able to give counseling or treatment or whatever and get the person out of it. That has happened too. So we cannot blindly go in and say, oh, it's all possessions or it's all just psychological mental issues that can be treated by modern medicine. Okay? But has a church misused or banked on possessions and exorcisms and what in the world? Just as I say that, hang on you guys, okay, this is so weird. Hang on 1 second. Where the heck? Stop it. Oh, that is so weird. Where the heck did that come from? Hang on you guys. Oh my God. Oh my goodness, that freaked me out, you guys. You'll be surprised at the kind of stuff that happens. I have not opened my balcony door to say that bugs can come in, because the last time I opened, because of the lights, there were some bugs and I didn't want to do it. And this house is spotless. I wish I could show you. This house is so clean. It's freaking spotless. There's no cobwebs, no dust, no dirt. It's like so well maintained. This is the third time I've had a black ant crawl over like this. Where is it coming from? This room is so clean, nothing, I don't know. I have absolutely, third time ever since I started this video. So I had to send him away on his way, and I had to say bye to him, send him to his next life. So it's so weird. So I have seen these possessions and so on and so forth. But the church does. Now, whether they genuinely go and treat these people or whatever, I have not seen that aspect of it. But they do bank on it. So here's another thing. The church will not blindly come and say, if anybody calls and say, hey, I think there's an active possession, I need a pastor or a priest here to exercise this individual. It's not that easy. It's not like you can pick up the phone and you can just come and do it. The church has a protocol, okay? There is a system to follow. They'll first send somebody junior and say, go look at it and go do this. Do they even qualify for an exorcism? You have to jump through hoops to get the church. The same church that you go to every Sunday and pray, the same church that you put money in, you have to jump through hoops and say, please come and help me. They don't just blindly come and help you. They don't. And even then, it's months or whatever, let's get the doctor's evaluation, let's do this, let's do that. And then, not everybody in the church does exorcisms. There are only very few people who do that. There's so much of stuff there too, and they themselves don't know what the heck they're doing. But I'm not going to say exorcisms have never happened and it has never worked. Yeah, I'm sure it has. But I have seen possessions. I have actually seen it. It's scary as heck. It is so scary. I will also tell you, even in the spirit world or in that world, wait, let me check my comments here. Hey, Dance, yeah, I know. Gonna come back as a spider now. Brenda, you're crazy. If it's a large black carpet ant, they hide in windowsills and cracks, they eat wood. No, we don't have that here, thank God. I met Satan in a dream and he assured me that he's Catholic, or that's who made him up. That's a whole nother thing, I should do a video on that, y'all. Okay, let's stick to this. So, yes, when they created traditional religion, right, organized religion, they created good and evil, and it was Lucifer and it was the devil, or it was Satan or whatever. But who created Satan? Like, you look at organized religion, who created Satan? Did he just pop out of nowhere and say, hey, I'm here? No, the people who created God, the concept of that, also created this concept, because you have to have the negative to make the positive look more positive and to give it that push that it needs. Because positive cannot exist by itself without negative. Think about it. Dark cannot be without light. Light cannot be without dark. Right? So there's no night There's no day. You need one to survive. You need the other to also survive. You have to have both to survive. So think about that. But having said that, there are different levels of energies. Okay, you in the world of energies, let's call it that, in the world of spirits, there are multitude of energies. There are some lower level. Okay, I suppose I have to delve into it. There are 72. I don't even have my stuff here. I wish I had it here to show. I'll probably, when I get back home, I'll probably do a whole nother video on that. They call it the 72 demons or demons or daemons or however you want to say demons. And they all have, like you have the hierarchy of the archangels and angels and all that good stuff, you also have a parallel kingdom, if you will. Let's use that word. So you have the God kingdom or the God dynasty, and then you have the devil or the Satan dynasty. And you know, if you talk about who was Lucifer, really, he's a fallen angel. Why did he fall? You know, let's look at it from the Bible perspective itself. You go back and look at all of that. You know, it kind of makes sense. They created this for that too. But anyhow, so there are different levels of energies, right? So the same. What I'm trying to say is, when you let me back that up. You could be walking across or come across somebody as you're walking on a street. You would never know whether they're possessed or not. It's not like I have a sticker on the forehead saying I'm possessed by so-and-so energy. They don't have it. There are different levels of possessions and different levels of attachments. Some of them are very, very subtle, you really can't tell, and those are the ones who really don't have that much strength and that much power. Just like in the hierarchy of the God kingdom or the God dynasty, you have certain angels that only do this and certain angels that only do that, and then you have Gabriel and Michael and Raphael, and then you have the other angels, you know what I mean, right? So it's the same way here too. But there are some of these energies that are really, really strong, and those attachments, y'all, are not fun. They are not fun at all. I can vouch for that. It's very difficult to shake off those energies. There's a lot you need to do to get rid of those energies. Can you get rid of them? Yes. But there are cases that you absolutely cannot, because the attachment is so strong, and it's like diagnosing a disease and getting the treatment as soon as you can. And there are some cases, I will tell you, that people hang on to it or don't let it go. Like I say, you can lead a horse to water, but if the horse doesn't want to drink, you can't help it. There are some people who actually sink into it so deeply that even though logic says you need to get this out of your system, they're not willing to let go, because it almost becomes a codependency type of thing. It amalgamates into their energy and they become one, and it's very, very difficult to help those people. Ultimately, it does end up taking their life, and I am not exaggerating, I'm not saying this. It does exist. I've seen it. I have first-hand seen how these possessions happen. It's scary as heck. It is weird. It's like you question yourself, you come away from it thinking, this is a bunch of bah humbug, this is movie, this is special effects and all that. But y'all, all that is real. I kid you not. It is real. Okay? Do they all these negative energies, do they look like they have skeletal faces, and do they have evil or whatever? Do they have a certain look over them? You know, all these angels look nice and charming, and they're all, you know, calm and beautiful and perfect features, and all these evil energies, do they all look like nasty skeletons? I cannot put those particular images, like, you know what I mean? Because you don't necessarily have to have a visual, like a picture or a person of a negative energy, right? Just as the way we have created those images so that it is easy for us to identify and say, oh, this is what an angel looks, because it's all about ease of making the mental connection visually so we can see it. We as human beings need those visual connections, those visual connectors to identify and to attach ourselves to it. So there's really no particular picture that I can draw and say, when people say, you know what, I went and I did this or whatever, I went so and so, I saw this hooded figure, I saw this, I saw that. Well, I'm not going to say any of it. They could have seen a hooded figure, it could have been a hooded figure, or could be an outline of a hooded figure. All those things are possible. I'm not denying or refuting any of that, to each his own, right? So for me, whenever I have seen energy, yes, I have seen those kind of hazes and mists, and you could almost see like a outline of a human being or like an outline of something. People say, oh, I saw this thing and it had a like the reapers thing, what do you call that, that long, that hooky thingy, whatever it's called. I saw that. I don't know about all that. But I have seen energies, I've seen energy fields, I've actually walked into energy fields where the force was so strong that I didn't even know. I'm walking and I get pushed back, and I actually fell backward, and thankfully there was somebody behind me, and that individual, that male, I mean, he's a big guy, he's like 6'5" something, and we were on a project and we were working on something, and I got pushed back, and he's like, what the heck? That was his initial reaction, what the heck? Like, I just randomly fell back on him, and I'm like, I don't know, why did you pull me back? He's like, I never even touched you, I'm 3 feet away from you. And then I realized that I was, and of course him and everybody crowded around me, and they're, Kirtana, what's going on? And then we could sense I wasn't the only one. There was this literal block of energy that didn't want us to proceed any further. So I have felt that. I have felt people touching me. Are they all these people, loved ones who have passed over, and good energy? No. There have been negative energies around. I catch it from the corner of my eye. I have literally seen, like I'm going to use the word shadow figure for the lack of a better term. Like it's not even a shadow figure, like a block of energy, a mass, like peep around the wall and kind of look at me like that. I have had some really freaky experiences, and I can vouch for that. So that exists. Now, the question regarding the question, the church as a portal, yes, absolutely, because under the pretext of God, there's always a sanctum sanctorum that's inside, right? Not everybody is given privy to that place. We know that. In the church, you can't, as Catholics or whatever, even though you are the biggest donor to the Vatican, they are not going to let you go all the way to the Sanctum Sanctorum. There are certain areas that are cordoned off. What the heck happens over there? Why is it cordoned off? Why is it so secretive? Why are you so secretive? The amount of stuff that goes on, you think all these sacrifices and all those things don't happen? Yeah, it does happen. Now, did God come and say, you have to sacrifice human blood to me, you have to sacrifice a child to me, sacrifice a chicken or whatever, a goat, and then I'll give you more power? God never said that. I absolutely, I can confidently say, Satan didn't come and say, you need to sacrifice a goat to me or a chicken to me or whatever. No, it's us human beings. The way we have our perceptions of what God wants or what Satan wants, Satan worship, and Satan worshippers and all that. That's all our possessions. Yes, does Satan exist or evil exist? Does negative exist? Does positive exist? Yes, but those energies didn't come down and say, excuse me, if you really want me to do XYZ to you, you need to sacrifice a human being. You need to do this. No, it's not that. We do that to gain power. It's all about power as human beings. Under the pretext and under the umbrella of positive and negative, we do all these, and all this nonsense goes on in the world, and kids get kidnapped to be sacrificed, and all that stuff. Now, going into spirituality, we were talking about the Celtic religion, we were talking about Wiccan, we were talking about South America, the hoodoo religions, and this, that, and the other. There are so many other, for lack of a better term, micro religions or micro thought process of faith or perceptions of faith that people follow around the world. Now we know the Celts or the Wiccans or whatever. There are a lot of those groups that absolutely purely only worship nature. And you all can attest to this, right? And that to me makes more sense, because that is tangible, right? We are appreciating, we are trying to be in tune with nature, air, all the elements, right? The earth, wind, fire, water, and spirit. Spirit is also an element, right? We are in tune with the moon phases, we are in tune with the sun phases, because it's common sense that we are all molecules, and all these multitude of molecules contribute to forming that big molecule which is called the universe or whatever, and so therefore we are all in sync, and our energies are in sync with the rest of the world. You believe it or not, but we are, right? So when we so-called use the term worship, it's almost celebrating like and having those particular moments in a year or day, a month or whatever, where we focus our attentions and our mind, body and spirit in connecting and reconnecting to these elements that make all of this whole, and therefore by reconnecting we are charging our own elements inside us. Do you get what I mean? So that is my perception of these other spiritual leanings, such as Wiccan and this and that and all that stuff. Because I don't know, way back when, maybe there had been some sacrifices there too, but blood signifies life force and power. Yes, absolutely. There is marked true evil. Wait. Dalisa Taylor says, I mean to say I sense them having keyboard issues. I don't know what that is. Mock cannibalism. Yes, that's yes, absolutely. Wait, because you're a psychic, your energy is a bright light. Spirits, they live mostly in darkness, and when they come across your psychic, yes, it's so true. It's so true. Y'all, I believe it or not, I completely agree. We almost, and it's not just me, like as she said, Kelly be right, like there are a lot of other psychics and mediums and empaths and whatever, they'll tell you, we are like walking magnets, y'all, whether we like it or not. For whatever reason God has put us, God, or the purpose of our existence, we are walking magnets to these energies, not just positive energy, but even negative energy. It gets very heavy at times. That's what I say time and time and again, people. If you have just figured out, realized you're a psychic or you're a medium or you're an empath or whatever, the first most important thing you need to do before you run off and do anything is learn. Find somebody to teach you. Find somebody to help you. Find somebody to guide you in one thing and one thing only, and that is how do you protect your spiritual energy and your space. That is so imperative, y'all. So important. I beseech you, first learn that. Y'all, I'm telling you, it has happened to me and I'm getting goosebumps. It's very difficult to shake off certain energies. It affects you. You fall ill. You wake up in the morning, and I have personally experienced that. I'm going to say in 2013, I have personally experienced that. I wake up in the morning, like one day, like normal, wake up in the morning, go into the bathroom and brush your teeth and do your normal routine, getting ready to go to work, and you catch yourself looking at your face in the mirror, and I'm like, why am I looking so different? Like there's almost like a greenish grayish pallor on my face. Well, clearly I'm not a Caucasian, so therefore I'm not a white-skinned person, but I'm not dark either, and I don't know, wheatish complexion, I suppose, or olive, or whatever you call it. So I was like, this is a very unusual hue, pallor my skin is taken, and then I thought, like, what's going on? And I kind of ignored it. I was like, whatever, blurry-eyed, I got to go to work 5 a.m. in the morning, whatever. For the next few days, I wake up in the morning, and first thing, right, you wake up in the morning, you're washing your face, and you look at yourself, and I'm like, I had to stop, and I had to look at my face. I had to actually look at my face. I didn't recognize myself, y'all. Believe it or not, I really didn't recognize myself. It is the weirdest, freakiest thing. And again, I kind of disregarded it, and I'm like, whatever. And I had to say, Kitana, get over yourself, you're too sleepy, or whatever, get to work, get your butt to work type of thing. It took me about a week to understand what was going on. Because I truly, and I would see this only when I got out of bed and I went into the bathroom and splashed water on my face. Because that's when your day is just rising. Like end of the day, I came back from work, washed my face, took off my makeup, took a shower, I didn't see it. But first thing in the morning, I woke up, I truly couldn't recognize myself. It was almost like I'm looking at somebody else's face and I didn't get it. And then finally it clicked on me because a couple of weeks before that, we had actually gone to somebody's home. It was in Murrieta, California, and they had sought some assistance because they were having some issues with energies playing mischief in their house. And so somebody latched on to me and came home with me. And so the house I was living in at that time, in my backyard, I had an apple tree, I had a avocado tree and lime tree. Okay, here's the freakiest thing, y'all. I would go into the backyard, I would pick lime, not the apple, not the avocados. I would pick lime, green lime, lemon, is it a lime or a lemon? Okay, the green stuff. Pick it from the tree, come inside the kitchen, wash it, cut it, and eat the whole thing by itself. I am not exaggerating. Eat that lime by itself. I craved it. Like think about it. Think about the citric acid in that and the level of acidity in that. Random. It was almost like eating like I won't even say pickle, it was almost like eating candy for me. I would in a day like eat 4 or 5 of those things. And when I would get up in the morning and brush my teeth, or night go to bed, brush my teeth, I didn't have sensitivity on my teeth or nothing like that. I had a friend visit, and I said, hang on a second, and I went to the backyard and she said, what, are you going to make like margaritas or whatever? I said, no. And she said, what are you cutting all that up for? And I was cutting them into little wedges. So I said, no, I just want to eat it. And she looked at me and she goes, what? I said, yeah, I like it. And she goes, what is wrong with you? How can you eat that? I said, here, try one. And she's like, no, I don't want it. I sat there, she was having a cup of tea, I had my glass of water, and I had 4 limes, green ones, cut in quarters, took off the seeds, skin and all, I ate it. And she stopped me and she said, what is wrong with you? What are you doing? I said, what? I'm just like, I got annoyed. I'm like, I want to eat this. What's your problem, man? I mean, it's from my garden. Like, we got into a heated argument. And she left. And I was like, okay, whatever. We're good friends, right? And so I was like, what the hell is going on? Never spoke to her for a little bit. After that, one day she calls me and she said, I want to come and visit with you. I said, okay, because we had a group of friends, right? So she had somehow spoken to the other individual who was also a friend, who we had gone to this house to help them, and they were talking, and she had apparently told that individual, I went to visit Kirtana and this is what I saw, and there's something really weird going on. And as we were having this conversation, I could see her facial expressions were changing. I felt like I wasn't talking to my friend. I felt like it was somebody else over there. So all these conversations happen in the back end, and then they call me and they say, hey, come, let's go out for dinner or whatever. I'm like, oh, well, let's go. What do I order at the restaurant? Can you get me some cut lime? And then they sat me down and they said, and I'm cognizant, I'm living my life, I'm going to work, I'm doing everything is normal. And then it was like, oh shoot, they were like, look, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. And then I had to kind of, it was almost like a slap in the face. And then I was like, oh, no wonder when I was waking up in the morning, I was seeing somebody else, not myself, and I didn't recognize. And then 2 and 2 together, it was an attachment I had taken, or an attachment that, something that had attached itself to me and I'd taken home and I didn't even realize. And it was a bit of a struggle. It took us almost a month and a half. And yes, I couldn't do it on my own. I needed help. And I wasn't violent. I wasn't spewing crap. I wasn't doing this. So possessions and energies can show up in different ways. It's not the traditional, like in The Exorcist, the head goes 360 degrees. It's not that graphic. Okay, it's yeah, maybe it could have happened. I wasn't there when that case actually happened. It could have happened. And all the scratches and all that, to a certain extent, things like that may happen. I'm not saying no. You do get scratched, you do get physically attacked. All that happens, but there are different levels, and some of them are so subtle you won't even realize until it's like too far gone, as in my case. So, and then they build up, and then then you become a portal almost. So it took me a month and a half to get past that. I had to work at it. I had to cleanse my energy field. There was a lot I had to do spiritually to get out of it, and I did. So please understand that when these weird, strange, random behaviors pop out of nowhere, particularly for people who are in the spiritual realm, please take a moment, seek counseling, seek help from somebody who you look up to, who you have confidence that they will guide you in the right direction, and delve into it and do a little bit of research and try to understand what it really is. Now granted, you wake up in the morning one day and as a woman, like you're constantly throwing up for a week or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean you're possessed. It could be basically a stomach upset, or maybe you're pregnant. That's also the other end of it. So let's not just jump to the worst conclusion all the time, right? So yes, did I answer your question about churches being portals? Yes, they do. Behind the shroud of church per se, of normal religion, there's a lot that goes on there that we don't really realize. Now, as far as human sacrifices, animal sacrifices, there are so many people, so many micro-religions, faiths, that people do all of this in South America and Africa and Philippines and Thailand, in India, it happens in the Western world. It's not only the developing countries. On that note, please don't ever say second world country or third world country. Get over that. This is 2021. There is no third world country and fourth world country and all that bull crap. Let me tell you, there are developed countries and there are developing countries. Okay, let's first understand that. Here we go, a little bit of politics. So there are a lot of this nonsense that happens in these developing countries, and there are a lot of stuff that happens in developed countries, in so-called developed countries, right? You go to Europe, there are parts of Europe that are there are a lot of secret societies. I totally believe that. There are a lot of secret societies. They're not so blatantly obvious and out in the open, where there are sacrifices made. And all that is to gain power over people. So it's an illusion of power that they're trying to build up, and that gives them more control over themselves, and somehow also makes them feel better, because they don't feel that guilt as normal human beings feel. It's like, in the name of my religion or my faith, whatever that may be, positive or negative religion, I'm doing this in the name of that. So somehow you're kind of trying to make it feel better, make yourself feel better about it and not feel guilty about it, because in the normal world that would be considered an offense, right? So all that bullcrap does happen. So wait, hold on a second. Wait. Where is the logic in that? There is none. What are you saying, Delvin? I missed something. Yes, cannibalism happened. Blood signifies the life force. There is mankind, true evil out there for sure. Absolutely. Somebody said hi, Jack. Okay, this is Jackie Rodriguez. Hi. Wait, I'm seeing orbs almost every day and night. My dog lets me know by barking, growling. I have not experienced this before. So one thing I will tell you. Let's now delve into this side of things, right? The orbs and the thing. So somebody had also emailed me, I think, or passed a comment on one of the videos, and I get this a lot. They were like, same thing. Your dog is just your sweet little dog. He's sitting there and just looks off into space, or even your cat, and they're following something, and you're like, there's nothing there. What the hell's wrong with you? So I noticed my dog Bunny does that back home. He'll literally come into the room and he will sit there while I do my readings and do my videos and all that. But they have been specific instances when I have done readings for these criminal cases. This dog, he's my shadow, right? He just, once I start, it's so weird. He gets up, he looks at me, and he's like, I want out of here. I don't want to be here. He walks out of the room. Usually he's a little Velcro where he's like, can I come in? Can I go out? Can I come in? Can I go out? Can I stick my face in your business? And no, I'm going to lay down. I want out. I want in. I'm hot. I'm cold. That kind of a dog. And I always accommodate him. When I'm at home by myself, the door to my study is open so he can come and go. When Mark is at home, I close my study doors so that, if he's watching TV or whatever, he can use the volume any way he wants and not be disturbed, and I'm not yelling at him, turn it down type of thing, right? So usually at those times, Bernie is like in the room with me and the door's closed, and you can tell by his body language, he's like, immediately he'll get up and he'll be like, no, and he walks out. There are times where this boy, my little burn dog, my little saint, he will, when I've done readings, he will come and sit right by my chair, literally sit an hour and a half. I'm sitting at my desk on my chair. He will sit right by my chair, literally his chin on the handle. I don't know why he does that. And he just looks, like if I'm dealing cards, he'll look there, he'll do this, he just looks. It's almost like somebody sitting there and watching. It's the weirdest thing. I want to know what goes on in his brains, but animals do know that. So, for those of you who have had such experiences, please don't automatically jump to the conclusion that, oh, it's all negative energy, it's negative energy. Trust your instincts. How do you feel? Initially, you may be taken aback a little because it's like, what? What's going on? So how do you feel? What is the energy like? After that orb is flown by or passed by or whatever, watch the dynamics in your house. Okay, how are you interacting with people? Like, let's say your significant other goes out and you're a homemaker or whatever. When they come back home, are they constantly like snappy and angry, or for no apparent reason you guys are getting into an exchange of words? How are your moods? How are your moods like? Are you having like crazy mood swings all of a sudden, which is not at all normal for you? Like, what's going on? Do you get mad at things? Do you feel like, you watch how your energy is, because this will affect you. If it's in your atmosphere, it's in your space, it's going to affect you. You watch how you react, subtle reactions. All of a sudden, like Are you like just getting mad at the world? Are you banging around, things going off, that something was working just fine and then all of a sudden it's on the blink and the next minute it's on. Now, I'm not saying this to kind of get your hackles up. You can tell when an energy is positive or negative. You can tell when it is a loved one who's coming to visit us. You can tell when it's like, I'm not necessarily a loved one, I'm a stranger, but I found you and I need help and I'm now here. Or it could be a negative energy that's trying to infiltrate your energy space. So you can tell, we are all intuitive, we all have a certain element of intuitiveness within us, or intuition. You can tell, watch those dynamics. Don't just blindly assume that this is scary stuff, I don't want it in my house. And not all energy is scary, understand that. So I've said this time and time and again for people where all of a sudden kids, teenagers, we know, right, they all act up. But then instinctively as a parent you can tell, okay, why is this child doing this, what is going on, that sort of a thing. If you have any doubt like that, first thing you'll do, don't go and spend hundreds of dollars going to a metaphysical store, y'all. I say this all the time, okay? Just go to a feed store, okay, the horse and feed or whatever, the tack store or whatever, where they sell salt, right, for horses or whatever. That's enough, y'all. It doesn't have to be pink Himalayan salt. It doesn't have to be rock salt. It doesn't have to be, the same salt that would cost $1 a pound. You go to the metaphysical store, they'll charge you $10 a pound. Don't be foolish. Just go get a rock salt, whatever, the piece of salt, like the chunk. It doesn't have to be 20 pounds. It doesn't have to be a particular, size or a color or a shape or anything. Whatever you can afford, bring it to your house. There's no need to wash it and cleanse it and do any of that. Leave one chunk by your front door. So the moment you are entering your house, I'm not talking about the garage door, I'm talking about your main door. The moment you enter the house, just set it down on the stoop, okay? Set it down on the ground. And if you have a patio door, and if you want to do that, go set one outside on your patio door. So when you're coming in from the patio, you see that there, right? Do that. And then also use sage. So there are certain reasons why we do all of these things. And what I mean by saying sage your houses, you go get sage, you light it, and be careful, okay? Now I've experienced this. I'm 5'10", so when I hold my hand up like this, I'm closer to the what do you call it? The fire alarm, right? And it's like I've set the alarm off for numerous times. So when you get sage, just walk around the house, go room to room to room, every single room, your bathroom, your throne, the room where the party is, your dressing room, your walk-in closet, every single room, go room to room to room, and there's no magical set scripted prayer, right? You can say something as simple as, I don't want I don't want negative energy, is not welcome in this house is filled with positive energy, whatever comes to your mind, there's no script. You call on whatever God or faith or religion that you believe in, and just walk around the house. You're basically taking control of your own space. You're basically saying, this is my space. You can, whoever you are, you're not allowed here unless and until I invite you, okay? And if you're here uninvited, I don't care who you are, please leave. That's basically what you're saying. I mean, some random person walks into your house, you're going to say, oh yeah, come in, and you'll be like, hey, get the heck out, or I'm calling the cops. It's the same thing. But when you're doing all of this, make sure to keep your door open. Okay, so your main door, there's no point in closing up everything and doing saging. Where's the energy going to go out of, right? So keep the door open, one door open or whatever. Go room to room and say your stuff and do it. And another thing with sage, right? Some people could be allergic to it, yada yada. All that, figure that out on your own, right? There are different kinds of sage. Doesn't matter. It's the intent. So you're making sure the energy is going out. Now you ask, why sage? What's the premise of sage? Let me explain. This is my understanding. This is how I do it. This is what I have learned, and this is how I have been doing it for years. For us, it doesn't have to be sage, right? You can hold a cross and walk around the room. You can hold a cup of water, walk around the room, whatever. Spirit and energy is cerebral, or it's not necessarily tangible. So it's not like I'm holding a cross and walking around. Like if you see my home in Texas, I do have a cross in the house, right? And I didn't buy it because it's a Christian thing or whatever. I just like the artwork. I had gone to some fair somewhere and I saw it and it looked cute and it had horses on it, and I seriously just bought it for the art value. But I'm not disrespecting and trying to diminish the symbolism of the cross, right? So it's at home. Am I a hardcore Christian or whatever? I'm not. I don't subscribe to any specific faith. The only thing I subscribe to is spirituality. Okay, so and I just let it be. I'm like, whatever, man, it's okay. You give it. See, another thing I want to say, I'm going off track, is you can take this pen and give it a particular energy, or give it a, by the way, where's the other one? I don't, y'all, I went and picked up these cute little pens and these little diaries, like a whole bunch of them, because I need them. I go through them, like, I don't know, at Marshall's, and it was like, I think everything put together, it was like $10 and all that, and these pens are so cute, whatever. So, and they write really well. That, and I picked up another diary that has a tiger print on it and something else, and I was like, what? And it actually works and it makes sense. Even the diaries, you know how we go to the store and we buy all these diaries and you can barely write anything, but this is good. I really liked it. So let me show you. Again, it's not sponsored, so this kind of a diary, right? Wait. Never lose your sense of wonder. It's got cute little sayings and all that, and you have the page for the like this also. Anyway, squirrel, here you go. So you can take something like this and give it a power, give it an attribute something to it, and say, henceforth this shall have the power of whatever. It's just a symbolism that we need, something tangible, right? So you can hold a cross, you can hold a cup of water, do everything. But when we say burn sage, burn incense, burn what do you call those little smoke sticks, whatever they're called, sandal sticks or whatever, right? It's because it's air, it's ether, and spirit and energy is air and ether. So it's almost like making it easier, giving them a vehicle to ride on and get out. You get what I'm saying? It's literally because of that, in my humble opinion, okay? And then again, if you go back and look at Native American thing, or you go into spiritualism, you go into Wiccan, you go into Celtic religion, you know, whatever other different religions they are. I'm talking about alternate religions, not traditional religion as we know it, organized religion as we know it. It's all about nature, right? It's all about, you know, using the bird feathers, the eagle feathers, or whatever. It's utilizing the elements of nature that are all around you, because it's all part of that organization, not organization, it's all part of that network, let's call it that, energy, molecules, network, you know, all of that stuff, right? So you're using nature itself to help and to give this spiritual energy a tool to be able to use and push it out or bring it in. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain it, because when you talk about the 5 elements, you have earth, you have wind, you have water, you have fire, and you have spirit. Wind and spirit is usually assumed one. Earth is like when you're doing any particular spiritual work that needs stabilizing, that needs grounding. You have your gemstones that need to be cleansed and grounded. You usually cleanse it and you put it in the dirt under the full moon and let it absorb the energies for X number of days, and then you take it out and do it. Now when we're talking about cleansing baths, right? Baths is when you wash yourself. So what is the element you use to wash yourself? You use water. So they say when you're doing a cleansing bath, it doesn't mean you go put all this nice water, this whatever spiritual water in a tub and you soak in it. You're not bathing. You want to wash off all those attachments. So you actually shower. You stand in a shower, you take a shower and you let the water run off. You don't sit in the tub and let the water soak right there, right? But if you're talking about energizing baths, you want to absorb energy, you want to reinforce certain energies, that's when you take an actual bath. So there are different things like that. A lot of spiritualists, you know, you see, and a lot of Hindus do that too. They call it the Surya Namaskar. So what is the Surya Namaskar? They call it the Surya Namaskar and Chandra Namaskar. Namaskara is paying obedience, right? Surya is the sun. So every day at sunrise, they actually go face east. They look at the sun and they say their prayers and they worship and whatever they do. And if you're living by a water body, they usually go take a dip in the ocean or do whatever. It's because you're cleansing yourself. You come out of it, you're cleansed, you come out of it and you pay obedience to the sun, and then you go about your day. And in the evening, they do Sandhyavana. Sandhyavana is again paying obedience and saying thank you to the sun for all that it has blessed you with, okay? And they don't necessarily have a bath in the evening, or maybe they do, I don't know, and do whatever they do, right? They light the lamp and whatever. And then Chandra Namaskara is paying obedience to the moon, because they understand that without the sun and the moon, there could be no earth, there could be no life on earth, right? So it's almost saying thank you to nature for being there and for giving us the sustenance we need to exist on this world, in this world. So that aspect of it is there. So there are different reasons. You use different elements, earth, wind, fire, water, and spirit, for different things, right? So that's what I mean by using saging your house. Pay attention to your animals. Pay attention to your animals. Your animals believe it. I don't care if it's a dog or a cat or a hedgehog or whatever you have. Horses, pay attention, because they pick up on these energies. They're very, very sensitive to these things. So that's your first sign. Are you guys still here? I'm amazed. How long have we been on this thing for? I have no idea, but Pam says, as an artist, there are many times I draw things I have no idea why or how. I knew the details in an animal I've never seen. I can draw what my mind's eye. Well, there you go. Years ago, I woke with scratches and a big chunk of my hair gone. Oh my goodness. Grandson wants to watch my phone, but will be watching on TV. Good night. Okay, Paula. I did say it's smudging in crystals with essential oils. Yes. Hello Lisa, incense sticks, yes ma'am, that's what I was trying to say. It is sad for those who can't feel and see, and a lot of people don't want to, they choose not to feel and see because it's scary, it's the fear of the unknown, they don't know how to deal with it. Grace Green has got some joking on with Jacqueline, and she's got a laughy face and a heart there. Of course, I'm curious to know what that is. No, at my age, I would forget where I put the baby down. Moon water too, yes. Incense, horses are the bomb, no kidding. Loving this life, thank you. I only have a tub, I will need to stand in. Yes, absolutely, stand and just pour more clean water over yourself, okay? Black tourmaline, yes, there are a lot of gemstones and a lot of crystals and essential oils that you can use. Absolutely, absolutely. But understand this, okay, when you're using gemstones and crystals and stuff, if you're not prepared for, just don't go randomly pick something and use it. You have to understand what they stand for, how they help, and use the appropriate stone. Now when you talk about essential oils, like I said, it's again the elements and the what you call, you know, the scent, the sight, the sound, the smell, all those things that play into this, right? It's all about utilizing all these different factors or different elements to be able to help us get where we need to. And when we talk about water, the moon water, simple thing, y'all, simple thing, just try it. And even scientifically, they have proved it, okay? Selenite, yes, selenite is good. Y'all, do y'all notice on my desk, I have this big sword, I think it's almost like this long. Well, it's more than a foot long, and it's a good wide. I have a selenite sword, it's one piece. I do have certain other swords because I use it in my spiritual practice, not to kill anybody or anything, don't worry about it. When you're dealing with energies, there are certain ritualistic things that we go through, like your atame and, you know, all those things. Yes, I do use that. Tourmaline is very good. I wear a bracelet every day. Yes, I have so much to learn. It's such a vast world. My senses have recently gotten supercharged. I need to learn about more things. Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, with the water, here's one thing I would recommend you guys doing, okay? You wake up in the morning, right? Forget about putting apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, and you do all those things, or your belly fat will melt, and forget all of that stuff. Let's leave that aside. Yeah, go ahead and do it if it helps you. Take a glass of water. You wake up in the morning, take a glass of water, fill it up. Water, cold water, tap water, filtered water, fizzy water, non-fizzy water, whatever the water. Just water. Keep it on the counter. 30 seconds. Just look at the glass, hold the glass in your hands and empower it. How do you empower the water? Just say something as simple as, you know, I am energizing this water with all the positivity, such that I may benefit from the positivity or the positivity the universe has. You know, I'm attracting that energy into this water and I'm energizing this water with all the positivity. You know, whatever little thing that comes to your mind like that, and then drink the water. Y'all, I kid you not. I kid you not. You try it. You try it for a month and come back and talk to me. It's not going to be like, oh, all of a sudden you do that for a week and you wake up one day and your eyelashes are going to be 10 inches long. That's not what I mean, right? I wish, right? Then you'll have to get your eyelashes trimmed. How fun would that be? So that's not what I mean. You will, because all these are natural elements that we are imbibing, ingesting in our bodies, right? So they also have certain energies in them, right? Now you're empowering that, adding more positivity and more energy into it, and then you're putting it into your body. It's like, oh, I'm vegan, I eat only organic stuff. Why do you do all that? Right? Because you want the best of what is available to go into your body, because your body is your temple, yada yada yada. So just try that one simple trick. My mom, she would fill up a copper jug. The capacity was 1 liter, and she would wash it herself. She wouldn't let anybody touch it. Would not. She would wash it herself, fill up water. She'd set it there on the table. In the morning she goes, she brushes her teeth, whatever. Before her cup of coffee or tea or whatever, she would sit and she would finish that whole jug of water. And when she is drinking her water, you had best not go and try to have conversation with her. I don't care if you're dying, if you're falling apart, if you're just like, no, you better not talk, because that was her time for herself to meditate. And I didn't realize for the longest time, it took me a long while to ask her, why is it that you get so angry when you're drinking your water, we come and ask you any question or anything. And it took me a long time to actually build up the nerve to ask my mom, because it was given, like when she's doing that, you better not go anywhere. And it wasn't more than 15 minutes or whatever, right? So 15, 20 minutes, however long she took to finish that jug of water, and just plain regular water. And then she told me, this is my time to focus and meditate energies and energize this water, because when I'm putting it into my body, I have to also add value to, I don't have to, but I do add value, I do add positive energy and paying obedience and thanks to the universe for giving me this, and I'm ingesting it, and this is my time to focus and to kind of meditate on what I want my day to be like. And I was like, oh, well, why didn't you tell me that, Mom? Why are you telling me now? She's like, well, I thought you understood. I understood. Well, anyway, so she used to do that. And of course, I do have the copper jug. I actually still have her copper jug. I don't do that and all that. I just take a glass of water and I drink it, because I'm like, I need my cup of coffee in the morning. So try that, y'all. Okay, sacred, scared the living crap. What? Me, the things I saw, many spirits reaching out to me, I could see behind my head. Everything turned purple and blue, scared me too. Salt Lake, yes, Salt Lake, that's what I was saying. You see, it does affect us. And I'll tell you another thing also, since we're talking about religion, right? So all this is also a type of religion. It's a type of faith. It's a pursuit of a faith. It's an interest in a particular thought process or a way of living or a kind of living. Celtic religion, the Wiccan religion, the voodoo, the hoodoo, the orishas, all of that, right? And if you go back and look at the way those particular religions or the spiritualities, the multitude of different spiritualities were initially started, it was at its purest form. But even within the Wiccan, even within the Celtic hoodoo, voodoo, Orisha thingamajiggy, all that stuff, as we have progressed, even there people have kind of bifurcated and they've kind of gone off and tried to modify it or have modified it and made it their own and gone off and done other things. So whatever religion in the world there is that is being practiced in the modern day, I would say none of them, if you look at them from the source, from the pure point, from the origins, none of them had anything bad in them. They didn't say go and sacrifice a human being, go and do this, go and do. It is our interpretation and the way we modify that to suit our own selfish needs, and then we end up doing all these crazy things, right? Like murdering children and kidnapping children and using women from very, very sensitive, vulnerable sects of society, sect as an SECT of society, use them as breeding tools. Really, I mean, all that stuff exists, and then you have them taking away the babies and, you know, sacrificing the babies. Y'all, that stuff happens. Okay, it happens. These women crazy going and kidnapping kids, cutting the babies out of the womb, and doing all that stuff. It happens the world over. And then they go use those babies for this, that, and the other. And then they say, like, you know, this is really creepy, okay? But I'm just saying, there is a thought process in Southeast Asia, okay? I'm not talking about Southern Asia or West or North, Southeast Asia, Thailand, Philippines, wherever, where they say, like, you have these shamans or these so-called voodoo priests or hoodoo priests, whatever you call them. They say that if you want to control living human being, let's say it's a oldest son in the family, and you want to control that person, right? They say you need to harvest the spirited energy of a dead person who is the youngest son somewhere else, and use that energy to control this. Now that never made any sense to me. It's like, why would you need the energy of a particularly of a young dead the dead son, youngest son of a family, to control the energy of a living member of the family who's an oldest son? Like, why? So they say if you need to control a female sibling in the family, you need the energy of a male, you know, weird ass stuff like that. I'm like, what the heck? Like, why? Energy is energy, right? Why would you need a male from here and female? Like, it didn't make sense. It's all weird control stuff. Oh, if you want to do this, I need the left hand of a so and so to do this, and then that will make you this. And you twist it and turn it and do all this weird stuff, and people fall for that nonsense and do it. Please don't do those sacrifices. The biggest sacrifice, you really want to do a sacrifice, you make a sacrifice to your faith, to your religion. The biggest sacrifice you can make is, or investment you can make is, stop just blindly believing it. Go research it and come to your own conclusions and do what you think is the best thing. Just don't blindly follow somebody else because they are telling you that this is right, this is right. Even me, y'all, I am sharing my knowledge about my tarot, my astrology, my psychic, what I'm sharing it. I'm not forcing it on you. This has been my personal experience. This is how I do it. You have to do your own due diligence, and you have to form your own opinions and come onto your own. Please don't ever blindly follow anybody as far as these faiths and religions and all these things. As we share our knowledge, you take it for what it is. Take what applies and leave the rest. Don't worry about it, right? You do your own due diligence, right? Just because your mother or your sister was a Wiccan doesn't mean you have to. You may not, it may not resound with you, right? You may deviate and go and do the Orisha things, or you may do hoodoo or voodoo, or you may you may be attracted to the realm of the 72 demons because they are 72 angels, they are 72 demons. Maybe that makes more sense. They've been there for longer than time immemorial, right? You have the jinns, D-G-I-N-N or G-I-N-N, I don't know how they say it. If you actually read into all of that, that's a different name that they use for negative spirits, right? Y'all, that is a whole different world. That is like, oh, people make jokes about it. It's like, oh, Aladdin and the genie in the lamp type of thing. Let me tell you, this jinn business, they are really, really, really very, very powerful entities. And if you do not know, it's almost like a hierarchy. They have like their, for lack of a better term, I'm going to explain it this way. They almost have like each of them have their own it's like the army, right? You have your general, you have your platoon, you have your team, and then you have your manager and your captain and your lieutenant and all that. It's almost like that. And their lower level energies, that all they do is freaking chaos. They just come and cause trouble because they get kick out of it. So who's that? Somebody else did something here. Wait, who was that? Oh my god, I missed it. Somebody just donated again, and I completely, wait, it's right here. Lisa Hogan, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, I appreciate your generosity, and more than that, I appreciate you joining us over here. Thank you. So these jinn energies and all that, y'all, that's like intense stuff. That's like seriously intense stuff. See, energies have existed for millennia before we even came into the universe, mankind came into existence. You're so amazing. I love watching your channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate your kind words, and really more than I do appreciate your donation, but the fact that y'all are here, y'all, that's the biggest thing for me. I so appreciate it. So thank you, all of you. Page more. Wait. Demons and jinn are negative and feed on pain. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Think about it. Think about these people who have these power struggles, right? They feed off of negative energy. They feed off of weak people. All these politicians, all these dominatrix type of, why did I say dominatrix? All these people who are power control in abusive relationships, they feed off negativity, they feed off weakness. So if we do whatever we need to empower ourselves, then we are automatically not going to attract these energies automatically, right? So that's our best protection, right? So these jinn stuff, y'all, I'm not kidding you, it's true. So let's get into something called chanting, okay? Meditation, chanting, whatever you call it. Sound, right? Sound, the vibrations of sound, right? We see about that megahertz thingy and whatever. It makes sense. Absolute sense. It is true. Try it. You will not regret it. Wait, all these emojis. Oh my goodness, I love these emojis, y'all. How come I never find these emojis? Punky Warrior says, at Sherilyn, sending positive vibes, love, light, strength, happiness, and healing your way. What did I miss? Sherilyn, what's going on with you? Yes, jinn are very, very dangerous, Dalisa. I kid you not. Thank you, Sherilyn, everybody's talking about you. What's going on? Wait. Sherilyn. Wait, Sherilyn, my friends, I've had a fever all day, sinus infection. Please send me good energies, must appreciate it. Absolutely, Sherilyn. You need to rest up, honey. Steam inhalation, oh my God, sinus and migraine, don't even get me started. I suffered for so many years. Steam inhalation, honey, trust me, you may take the spray and the medicines and whatever, but I'm seriously, no kidding. You get these camphor drops, like essential oils. Serious, Sherilyn, just give it a shot. It won't cost you more than $1 at the most. Just heat some water. Of course, don't burn yourself. Be super careful. It's hot water. Boiled water or whatever. Take it off the stove and just put your head over it and put a towel. The basic steam inhalation. Again, Sherilyn, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical person, but this is what I do. And be very careful. You're dealing with hot water. We do not want you to get burnt. And be cognizant about all these things. Steam inhalation, don't do any of that. Just go stand in the shower and turn on the hot water and just stand there as hot as you can take. That steam is enough, right? And in Vicks Vapor Up, girlfriend, let me tell you, as nasty as it is, just take a wee drop of Vicks Vapor Rub. You can get it at CVS and Walgreens, whatever, and just drop it in that hot water, and of course, just inhale that steam. It's going to open everything and drain out your sinuses. And here's my personal experience. When I go to bed, when I'm struggling with sinus, I try to keep my head up a little bit more. I tend not to use a pillow, but those times I do. And then when I wake up in the morning, the nasal drip or whatever, it kind of drains out. So again, I'm not a doctor, so please know that, okay? And be careful when you're doing steam inhalation. Just stand in the shower, honey, and just let the water, that steam is also helpful to you. So anyhow, I was wondering what was going on. I was like, oh my God, I hope nobody's like, seriously ill or whatever. So yes, okay, let's get back to jinns and this and that and all that. And meditation and sound and how sound vibrates and all that stuff. Why is it that some people are automatically drawn to techno music or heavy metal or jazz or whatever? Think about it from that level too. We are drawn to certain subconscious waves. Subconsciously we are drawn to certain waves because we are at that vibrational level, right? Not all of us are on the same vibrational level. Not all of us like techno music. Not all of us like jazz or heavy metal or rock or punk or whatever, right? Because we all vibrate at different levels. So the same thing with sound and meditation, right? You look at Native American music, you look at the music that you have at different megahertz. Some of them actually some of those megahertz actually bothers me. I can't take it, I turn it off. And others I am more drawn to, and it's more my wavelength or whatever. So when chanting and doing all those things, you're constantly repeating the same thing. It's not so much the words you're saying, but the vibrations that those words or those audible noises, the vibrations that they create, the ripple effect they create in the ether and in the air, that is what is truly important. So when we chant and we say things, we are energizing something, we are adding energy, because when you make a sound, there is energy used to create that sound, and the sound has a certain energy to in and unto itself. Scientifically, we all know that, right? So why is it that some singers, when they hit the high C note or whatever the note, they can technically break a crystal glass that is 10 feet away from them and all that? Because the sound has that energy, right? So think about it like that. So when we chant and we do things, we are giving strength to something. We are energizing something. If you are chanting and doing this to jinn or whatever, and you don't know what the heck you're doing, you can awaken a whole bunch of drama, and you do not want to deal with this. I am not going to mention the name of these books. There are some scripts still floating around. I have access to a lot of these books that are almost 150, 200 years old by inheritance. You know, they've come to me from my grandpa who inherited it from wherever, whatever. And me being me and my curiosity, I want to read everything. I like to read. I enjoy reading. I had come across a couple of books that were written whenever, we talk about Aleister Crowley and this and that and all that. Let's leave all that aside. So I've come across some books that I have, and our curiosity opened it. There was this one particular book, and it was all about the jinn, right? So I don't know if there's a book flying around in today's world that's written by a modern author. I don't know. In that book, it's written in English, and the author had very clearly said, even as you read this, do not say these particular things aloud, because you are creating, you're energizing, you're creating vibrations, and the vibrations are coming out of your mouth, and you're going to give energy to that particular other energy that is wanting this, almost like plugging in something into an electric socket, and you're going to energize it and give it more strength. And I'm like, ha ha ha, yeah, well, I subsequently found out. So it was a very, very interesting book, and they were talking all about the 72 demons or the jinn or whatever the heck it is. Actually, it's about the jinn. So then I was reading it, and then they have these particular, like how we say Psalm 21 is for this, or Psalm, I'm just saying 21, I don't know, or Psalm whatever is for particular things, right? So it's almost like you have a prayer for a particular angel or a particular saint or whatever. These things were written to activate and to wake up certain jinns. And so I found it very interesting, and of course it's written in English, and then you have the original Arabic verse, and I don't know Arabic, but I was trying to, and they also have, the book has a clear, very detailed description as to how to pronounce certain words, right? Like as in that, you know how some books do that, they break it down for you. So I was reading it, and I was reading some of them aloud, and then I kind of forgot all about it, and then I hit another page and another chapter for another particular jinn, and it very clearly in bold letters, it was written in the book, do not read this aloud until you're ready to actually get on the journey. You have all your preparations, all your things, you've protected yourself, you've gone through the process, you have your circle of protection, and you've done all of that, you have all your atames, your this, your that, and all that stuff, and you've done your initial prayers of protection, asking the angels to protect you, whatever. Do not even say this aloud. I read it. I read that first page, the warning in caps lock. And then I started reading it, and because I wanted to get the pronunciations right, I kept reading that over and over again loudly. Not like 100 times or 50 times or whatever, maybe 2 or 3 times. Y'all, believe it or not, okay, this is up to you, but this is my true experience. And then I closed the book, and I was like, oh, okay. I closed the book suddenly, and not that I had anything else to do, and I went and put the book back on my desk and got on with my day or whatever. For the next 2 or 3 days, y'all, I was like being some psycho woman, like unnecessarily, that the moment Mark came home from work, I was like all on him like white on rice, and for no apparent reason, I was just like picking on him and whatever, and the dynamics, and he is looking at me going, what in the world happened to you? Like, what are you smoking type of, because that's not my normal personality. Yeah, as a couple we have like whatever arguments. I wanted to go there for dinner, or I told you not to use that. The usual normal arguments we all have as couples. Nothing like crazy where we're all at each other's throats or anything like this. And we are mature adults, and we thank God for that. We jive very well. We understand each other. We give each other space. And he is looking at me like, and the first thing he said was, "Are your kids okay?" And I got mad. I got so mad at him. I was like, "What do you mean are my kids? Who are you to ask me about my kids? And how dare you? And what do you think?" And so he just kept quiet because he knew something was off, right? And Mark is very well aware that I do all of this stuff. I mean, he knows it. It took him a little bit to kind of wrap his brains around it, because he's not exposed to any of these things. He was surprised when I said a couple of things to him, and he was like, "Oh shoot, whatever." Anyway, let's not get into that. So and he kind of backed off, and then for the next 2 or 3 days I was being very like aggressive and contentious, and I was like just being crazy. And then he walked into the study because he wanted something from my printer or something, and he saw this book on the table, and he goes, "What's that?" And I got so protective about that book. I said, "None of your business." Like that, very sharp, very short. And he was like, "Okay." And that pissed me off even more. I'm like, "What do you mean by saying okay?" And it was almost like I was scrapping y'all. I was looking and scrapping, and he didn't say anything. He just kept quiet. And then I don't know where I was. I must have taken Bernie for a walk or whatever. And he went back into the study, and he told me he flipped the book and he read at the back of the book or whatever the author gives their author's note or whatever. And he didn't say anything to me because it would have pissed me off knowing that he had touched my book or he read my book or whatever. A couple of days later, like when he felt that I was a little bit more calmer, he said, "What was that book?" And I said, "Oh, it's one of the books my grandpa I inherited, and it's all about this, that, and the other." And I said, "Why do you ask?" He said, "I'm sorry, don't get mad at me, but I was just curious to know because it's an old book. You can tell it's an old book." So I just looked at the author's note, and the author over there says very clearly, like, "Don't say these things aloud. Have you been reading any passages aloud?" Oh my God, y'all. I turned white. Because it hit me then, and I was like, OMG, what did I do? Unbeknownst to me. Like, not purposefully. And I flipped out, and I was so sad. I started crying, and I was like, "I'm sorry, honey, I didn't mean to this," And he goes, "That's all fine. I mean, I could tell this is not something transpired," and so he's very understanding. Bless his heart. He's such a wonderful person, and I'm so blessed to have him in my life. And he's very supportive, and he's like, "Okay, fine," and then I went and I sat and I went through my own process that I have to cleanse my aura, cleanse my space, whatever. Y'all, yes, I have read that book. I did complete reading that book. I've read that book a couple of times since, but I never say those things out aloud because now I understand the power of sound. The power of sound. It can be a positive power, it can be a negative power. So when you chant, when you meditate, when you chant, when you put on these vibrational musics and all, the whatever, be cognizant of what vibrations those have. What power, what energy do those chantings and vibrations have? How is that going to affect you? So don't just blindly run off and do stuff, right? And as we all know, music can drive you to do certain things that are not necessarily nice. Like you look at people who are addicts of certain kinds. They always tell you, when I hear a certain kind of music, it kind of makes me want to go and get another fix type of thing. So pay attention. The power of sound is very, 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 it is powerful. So pay attention to that. So I've had a few. Okay. So have you all not had enough of me? Lisa Hogan, thank you. Texas Patriots. Yes, that's the vibe I was getting when you first mentioned it. What is that, BB? I don't know, I missed that. I'm getting a bad vibe, but it depends on how you felt. I feel it was something posing as him. What is that, Texas Patriot? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm curious now. I'm so grateful you have your mark. Yes, I do. How did you feel about it? What is this? Wait, BB, what's going on? I'm missing something. Hang on, you guys. Wait, something about a doppelganger. Ooh, doppelgangers are very interesting. It came from the closet. I got up and he was sleeping. Wait. Okay, I missed something. Wait, what? Bibi, where is your original message? Vicks Vapor Rub. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. What, Kelly? I missed you. Sorry, was talking about my third eye open up all by itself. Wasn't meditating. It just happened. Scare the crap out of me. Yes, I believe in Jinn. Kelly, thank you for your contributions. Yes. Don't do megahertz if you don't want to see stuff. Absolutely. Thank you, Paige. Thank you. So something that BB said is, Biker Babe, it's called a Doppler. What? Oh, I missed it. What does it mean when you see a ghost of a living person? A ghost of a living person is not a doppelganger. A doppelganger is almost like a twin of you, but you're really not twins, right? They have the same, that's a whole other story, and it's very interesting. So doppelgangers are a duplicate of you who's not related to you by any way, shape or form, DNA, whatever. It's a completely separate entity, but it is you. Okay, so we'll get into that. That's very, very interesting, and it does exist, and there is something to it. Okay, so what does it mean when you see a ghost of a living person? My question to you would be, is it somebody who you know who has passed? What was your relationship like with this person when they were in the living world? How did you feel about it? Were you scared? It would have shocked you because you're not expecting, right? So what is it? Is it an antique piece? The energy? Okay, that's another thing, y'all. Pay attention to this. This is not bah humbug. Everything has the ability to absorb energy, right? So think about it. So is it an antique piece? Did you buy it from an estate sale? How long have you used that? Are some energies attached to this? Because just because we pass from the physical world, we die and we go to wherever we go, doesn't mean that we have no more attachments to this. Energy is fluid. Energy is constant. Energy is always around us. So you can't just take a pair of scissors and say, cut the energy and it's gone, boof, gone. Right? We still form energies. We still have our connections to the earthly realm, if you will, from the spiritual realm, right? So how did you feel and what did it look like? Do you think you know this person? Are you I get a lot of people from emergency services, from the police services, call me and say, hey, this is going on. I've done that, so many readings like this. I keep seeing this person, I don't know what to make of it, I don't know what to do. Because when the person has passed in a traumatic way, in an unnatural way, the last individual they see, the last contact they have, human contact, like physical contact with another human being, is probably the doctor or the emergency unit nurse or intensive care nurse, or it happens also with people who are palliative care nurses and doctors, guys who do the ambulances, accident scenes, they go there. And I've said, have you had now I understand, this is what the person looks like, and they get an understanding, and they've gone back and shown me photos and pictures and said, this is the person, thank you so much for helping me understand. And I always tell them, don't be afraid, because you are the last point of contact, right? Wait. Dr. Emoto, water experiments amazing. Yes. I love Vicks Vapor Rub. Interesting page. You are also awesome here. Okay, how did you get rid of your migraines? I'll tell you, this is a weird story, okay, and I will tell you that. Absolutely share it with you. So I always tell them, I said, don't be afraid when you have this. And sometimes those energies and those spirits are hanging on to you simply because you are the last point of contact, and they don't know like how to. We need to help them get moving. So I've told these people, I said, if you can make, I don't know the legalities, do's and don'ts as far as your profession is concerned, but if you can go back to that spot and just set something down over there and have a conversation with this person and say, look, whatever it is, I'm sorry I couldn't help you, but I did the best I can. You don't even have to apologize, because they know you didn't kill them, unless of course you did something drastically wrong, and instead of giving them vitamin D, you gave them something else, you know what I mean, that kind of stuff. you have a conversation and say, look, I'm paying kudos to you, let it go, etc., etc. They need that final permission almost from you, and that acknowledged saying that, okay, fine, okay, now I'll move on. So you help them along to transition. And a lot of them have come back to me and said, I did it for 6 months, they still wouldn't stop, visiting me. So then I said, start maintaining a journal, write it down, right? I say that so many times, write it down. You will not be disappointed with the messages you get. And they have said, oh, I didn't know I was able to make contact with the family, and they were surprised and they were so happy. I reached out to them, I went and visited them, we had a cup of tea, a lot of emotions, crying, hugging, sobbing, and then after I left, from that day onwards, that person never visited me again. So they were using you to take a message to the loved one. So don't ever be afraid of spirit, particularly, of course, if you can sense that it is not a negative spirit. And even if it is a negative spirit, don't ever show fear. Don't ever, because you are showing your weakest self, and it's easier for spirits to attach themselves. If spirits can attach themselves to people who are like psychics and mediums, for a novice, you think the spirits can't attach to fear? So be cognizant about that. So as far as my migraines are concerned, way back when, I used to have tremendous amount of migraines, and always migraines and sinuses, and suffered, of course, allergies. Knock on wood, these days I don't have that many migraine attacks, and my sinuses don't flare up that often, but my allergies are there. So I had traveled to coffee country in India, okay? So on one of my trips, I had visited, and some family and friends, they have coffee estates, and I'm talking about 2,000, 3,000 acres of coffee estates. And just so you know, India actually, it's not just Brazil or South America that produces coffee and tea. A lot of people don't realize how much of coffee and tea India produces. We just don't talk about it. We are the main contributors to a lot of the global market. Coffee, yes, and tea. So I had visited this coffee estate and lived with these people for a week. And I was talking about, we were talking about health and this and that, and I had done some tarot reading, and we got into all these metaphysical conversations, and I was like, I can't deal. I actually made a statement. I said, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't had a migraine attack or whatever it is. And they were talking about it, and they said, there's this old lady, we can go see her. She's a herbalist, and she's not a doctor, whatever. She's an herbalist. She's learned things from her, whatever, handed over to her by her whoever in her family, and she uses herbs and plants and leaves to help cure migraines and sinuses. And I was like, oh yeah, right, no thank you. And they said, no, so and so has experienced it, and I've been cured or whatever. And they said, like, what do you got to lose, let's go. So we went, we spoke to her, and she said, when you wake up in the morning, first thing in the morning, do not have water, do not have coffee, do not have nothing, just bathe, brush your teeth, wash your face, and just come to me. And I was like, I didn't know what the heck she was doing, blind faith, right? So literally, y'all, this is, at that time, this lady was well into her 80s, right? A little bit frail. So she had a family member, and they are not like poor people or whatever. They're like a decently, established family. And they are also coffee estate owners, but smaller estates. So they went and she got some plants or whatever, like fresh leaves, you could see it, and clean muslin cloth. And then she had me drink a lot of water, and she said, lay down and tilt your head back. So she had these leaves, and she had kind of put it in a mortar and kind of made a little mushy thingy out of it, put in this muslin. She had me tilt my head back, and she put one drop. And she said, hold your head back, it's going to burn. It's like somebody's lighting a bonfire in your nose. Leave it alone, just leave it be. And she, like, I was trying to fight it because it was really burning. I'm like, what the hell did I sign up for here? I mean, crazy, this is my fault. I'm saying, Kirtana, are you out of your mind? Like, what are you doing? Do you even know what that is? And what if you were to die? Or what if this happens? Or what, that fraction of a second, I was like, oh my God. So they actually physically kind of restrained me to a certain extent, not tied me up, anything. It's like, relax, you're not going to die. This isn't poison. And then she told me, she said, give it a second, the burning will stop. Just give it a second. And yes, the burning did stop. And then I was like, oh, okay, I didn't feel anything. And then she said, you're going to be throwing up a lot. Okay. And then when you go back home, you take a whole bunch of coconut oil. Okay. India is all about coconut oil. Now the Western world is all about coconut oil. Take a whole bunch of coconut oil and put coconut oil on your head, like your, whatever this chakra is, right? Your root chakra, whatever chakra you want to call it. Put it over here for the next 3 days. Do not wash your hair. Every single day, put a ton of coconut oil. And she actually put some coconut oil. She didn't have a lot, put some coconut oil, and it smelled so fragrant. I will never forget it. And I went home, and y'all, I kept throwing up so badly. She said, you have to come here for 3 days. One drop, that's it. Y'all, I have no idea what the heck that is. It's just plants. I wish I knew what plant and what herb. And she didn't take any money from me, nothing, y'all. It's just this old lady who was a herbalist, who was not gone to school or college to study herbology or anything like that, or plants or whatever you call it. She's just something she has learned. And for years after that, for 15 years after that, I never had another migraine attack. I used to take Migranil all the time, never had another sinus attack, ever. Of course, subsequently she's passed, and I don't know what it is. And I do get migraines, I do get sinus attacks, but nowhere close to how I used to suffer. I would huddle up, I would throw up. The room has to be dark, don't make noise, don't make sound, don't make nothing. To that extent, I just curl up into a ball, and for 3 days or 4 days, I'd be out of it. I used to get such bad migraine attacks. So I don't know what it is, y'all, but, and then again, I have to say, you talk about homeopathy, you talk about Ayurveda. All this started way back when in India. People say homeopathy started in Germany. No, go do your research. It did not. And thankfully, modern science, modern medicine has, for the past few years, been amalgamating herbal, Ayurvedic forms and treatments and all that stuff, and homeopathic forms and treatments to help with cures and medicines and so on and so forth. So I have to give kudos to India, not just because I'm in India right now, but the amount that this country has done in the name of science and helping, modern mankind with ailments. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. I remember, my grandparents used to say, bitter gourd, right? They always used to say, have bitter gourd, it'll help with any intestinal parasites. Little things like that. And modern science has come to prove to us that they are extracting all those things from all those vegetables and herbs and whatever, incorporating it into modern medicines. And, Pfizer's and Johnson & Johnson's and all these people are making gazillion dollars over it and making buku dollars and selling shares, so way of life. So again, we went into a spiel, so I missed heaps because I had a visitor. What are we chatting? Oh, Delvin, welcome back. We're chatting about everything from migraines to spirits to jinn to, all that stuff. So, I came from the closet, I got up and he was sleeping on the couch. That's right. It kept its head down and never seen the eyes. That is not a doppelganger. Yes, Texas, right, Patriot, you're right. That's what I thought. Dreams are when our souls do other things. Okay, is this finally still going? Please speak of having the gift, and all I need is a little guidance that my friends can't help with. I just so much it scares me. Why are you scared, Jennifer? What are you truly scared of? Is it because it's shocking you, that it's a shock to you, it's not something you expected, or why are you scared? Can't help with a little guidance. It's just so much it scares me. I'm not going to do a reading per se for you, Jennifer. Jennifer Tooney. Send me an email, okay, and let me know what exactly is it that you are dealing with, and I will respond via email back to you, okay. Again, Biker Babe, is it somebody you know? Did somebody you know just passed, or you say, oh my God, whatever it was, it's not good. Jacqueline, how do you know that? What did it do? What did it do to scare you? That's the most important thing. So Biker Babe says, my husband. So was that your husband who visited you? That's also another thing. It's not always a good omen to see someone alive in spirit. Because if you are, and yes, it could happen, because I'm going to go back and look at this. Sounds like astral body, he was checking on you. So yes, okay, astral travel. So it's unbelievable how our souls are connected, how we connect with people. Most often we are so muddled with daily bullcrap and white noise and all this crazy daily living life and all the drama that goes on in the world, that we don't realize how we are connected, how deeply we are connected, and we kind of overlook that. But projections like this from a living person could be a couple of things. Yes, they may be just checking on you. You didn't realize, he didn't realize, or maybe he realized and you didn't until now, if he's still alive. Well, I hope so. But if, for example, you have an individual who's living further away or wherever, it doesn't necessarily have to be in your home, maybe somewhere else, and they're coming in through in this aspect to have communication with you. Two things: maybe together your communication channels are broken down, you're unable to talk to each other, and this is his or her way of trying to come in and trying to have a communication with you. Could be another thing. And I'm not saying this to scare you, so please don't lose it. Sometimes we hear people say, oh, my grandpa or grandma came to me, I saw my grandpa or grandma came to me, it was almost like he was standing right there, and he said, hi child, or hi Jane, or hi Jenny, or whatever, and I said, hi grandpa, and I turned around and he was gone, and then I'm like, where did grandpa go? Like, where did grandpa go? He was just here. And so I'm calling my mom and saying, Mom, grandpa was here, where did he go? And then mom says, what do you mean grandpa was there? He can't even walk, how could he have driven to your house? You live 20 miles away. That's happened. So it could be grandpa's way of coming and saying, hey child, I'm not going to be for much longer, I just wanted to come and visit with you and leave. Things like that do happen. Again, Biker Babe, please don't lose it. I'm not saying that this person is going to die or whatever, that's not what I'm saying. Maybe your channels of communication have been broken, or maybe you need to, this is a sign from the universe saying that, look, reconnect and re-energize your communications, open up your communications, talk to each other. Maybe there's something deeper going on there that you'll need to get out, and talk about it. So that could be it too. So don't fear these things. Do not, okay? So, not sure about you calling him it. Yeah, why are you calling him it? And why coming from the closet? Or I'm going to say this, Biker Babe, again, do not misconstrue this, and do not be hurt by what I'm about to say, because like I said, I don't filter. Since you put it on the open forum, I'm assuming you're okay with discussing this. Maybe he's hiding something from you that he doesn't want to come out and say it. So think about this. Maybe he's coming out of the closet to tell you something because he can't look at you face to face and tell you. That could be anything. Whatever that communication it is, he's hiding it and he's coming. It's his way of saying, I want to come out and tell you, but I'm unable to come out of the closet and tell you. So, you know what I mean by that. I'm not saying that he's gay or whatever, and even if that's the case, whatever, I don't know. But there's something he wants to discuss and communicate to you. He's afraid to do it face to face. So this is his way of saying, I've been closeting it, I've been keeping it a secret, but I want to come out and tell you. Do not fear. Deal with it. Get on with it. You have the strength. You're stronger than you think you are. Do it. You can. You'll be fine. Okay? So I will tell you this though. So let's get out of that focus on Biker Babe thing and let's talk about something else right now, because that conversation is going on the side. Let's come back. Let's come back and let's discuss the other things, okay? Let's not get deviated, although I appreciate it and I'm not bad that we're talking about it, but this is another thing I wanted to say. Let's not make comments exclusive to one particular individual or one particular question. Let's give other people an opportunity to ask their questions as well, okay? I say that respectfully. I hope you understand that. So anyway, okay, sad again. Look at Punky messages too. We need to reach out to her beautiful people. She had a hell of a year of death. Okay, I'm going to do that. I will reach out to her. My dad has severe dementia. How do I keep him grounded and feeling good about himself? He seems so lost. Send me an email, okay? Punky sending you love. Okay, so let's go back to somebody has sent me a message too the other day regarding Punky Juarez at Kerry. The summer of 1999 was a hard summer for me. From June 28th until September 4th, I lost my sister, my nephew, my grandma. Oh my God. Oh, that's terrible. That's not a good situation. Okay, let's go back to the subject at hand as we were talking about religion or whatever, right? So again, like I said, the premise of this video is not to diss any particular religion or to impose my beliefs or my thoughts or my mindsets on y'all. That is just absolutely not the intention. It was just to discuss, what's going on. Truly, let us first and foremost acknowledge that so-called organized religion is not what it's all made out to be. So I beseech you people, again, don't get put off by it. If that's what you're drawn to, like I say all the time, you do you, boo. But before you run off and blindly accept what somebody else is preaching or saying, do your own research. You sit and you think about it, you process it, and you understand it. You learn from your experiences. How was your experience? How was your interaction? Are you comfortable in that environment? Are you comfortable because that's all you've known ever since you were a child? Your whole family went to church all the time, or the mosque or the temple, and so therefore by default it's like a force of habit and you're comfortable. Not because you're comfortable because you truly understand and enjoy it. So think about those things, and please don't ever hesitate. Just because you've been Christian, you've been baptized, doesn't mean that you should never even consider or research another faith or another religion. That is so not true, right? There's nothing wrong. Just because you're researching or learning about something else doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to convert today or tomorrow. Maybe you are, maybe you don't. You don't have to. There's nothing wrong in believing two different schools of thought. There's nothing wrong in believing two different thought processes, or different beliefs, or different understandings. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not that you have to believe only one, and you can't think about anything else. You can't accept it. You can't this, and only this. That's not true at all. You can believe in a multitude of things, take what resonates with you, be it religion, be it science, be it medicine, be it education, politics, whatever it is. So that's what I'm going to say. And again, y'all, think about it. Anytime somebody comes knocking on your door, this is a sensitive subject. It pisses the snot out of me when, for the most part, Christians, different sects, Protestants, Methodists, Lutherans, Latter Day Saints, Modern Day Saints, whatever you have, for the most part, you go back and look at history, political history, religious history, history of modern mankind. It's a Christian religion per se, or the different sects of Christian religion that have gone out and tried to convert people. I say this, what is the need to forcibly convert people by saying, I'll build a school, I'll do this, I'll do that, so because I'm doing all of that, you have to convert to me? If your religion, if your faith was truly so pure and so awesome, you didn't have to buy people's affections and buy people's faith by saying, I'll build a church, I'll build a hospital, I'll build a this, I'll build a that. People would automatically be drawn to your faith and your religion, isn't it? Think about that. How much has Christianity gone and tried to impose their faith and their religion on all these tribes in South America and Africa and Asia? Like, they've done so much. You don't find Hindus doing that, right? You don't find Baha'i people faith doing that. Buddhists don't forcefully go and convert and have these big ceremonies and seminars. I'll build a church, I'll do this, I'll do that, but you have to convert to my faith. They don't do that. Because they're like, if you believe, you'll automatically be drawn. We're not going to do that. But having said that, remember I said we'll talk about cults, the Hare Krishna cult, that the fellow Qureshi at Waco, that any number of cults, that fellow who went to South Africa somewhere and poisoned everybody and so many people died and all that. It's power struggles. It's a deviant energy that says, all right, fine, I'm going to make myself God and I'm going to preach. How stupid are people to believe that this one man out of nowhere pops up and says, God came in my dreams and God told me that this is what I have to do, now you have to follow me. Here's what I have to say. You can come at me for this, but that's fine. This is my opinion. I said, you fool, you. It's your mistake for believing this fool and blindly going in and you end up dead. Don't hold anybody else responsible but yourself for that. You all can come at me for saying this, I'm fine with it, but it is a fact. Did he come and hold a gun to your head and say you have to believe me? Initially, that's not how he drew you in Scientology and this and that. They didn't come and they didn't hold a gun to your head and say you have to draw us. They lured you in. They're predators, y'all. They are predators. Protect yourself against predatory influences. Okay? And once they suck you in and then they change you and they do all these things, that's what a cult is. They're predators. Take care of yourself. Why do you need to join an organization, okay, that promises you A, B, C, D and says in turn you sell your soul to me? Why do you have to sell your soul to anybody? So that goes to show that you yourself are of deviant thoughts or of deviant energies, that you're drawn into that because you don't want to accomplish anything by your own merit. You want to feed off and piggyback on these cults, and then they say, oh, you join Scientology, we'll make you a millionaire, we'll make you this, we'll make you that. The Scientologists, all the members of Scientology, are they all multi-millionaires like Tom Cruise and whoever the hell's, like he comes to mind because he's a staunch. John Travolta, I think he's a Scientologist, and ABC, or I think Leah Remini is the only one who stepped out of it, like a famous person, and said, this is bullcrap, I'm out of it. They're not all rich people, y'all. Even there they have a hierarchy. They're gophers even there. What happened to the Scientologist, whatever the fellow's face, his name is his wife, nobody knows where she is. Some people say she's dead, some people say she's in hiding, some people say that he has imprisoned her and kept her somewhere else. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on over there. So please, y'all, please understand that these are all predatory people. Go back and look at the fellow who actually started Scientology. Why did he start it? Read his book. He himself is telling you why he started Scientology. So you go and you join all these cults, and then you end up dead, and like in Waco, he blows up the whole place. In South Africa, he gives everybody poison, they all drink and they all fall dead. You go to the Rajneesh or whatever, that's another. I've never believed all these cult leaders. I have no respect for them, absolutely no. They're all freaking predators. You look at their eyes, and some Shri Guru this, and the Hare Krishna cult, and this cult and that cult, and all, bunch of bah humbug bull crap. And people go die and give them money and give them money. Why? You have worked so hard for that money. Why do you have to give somebody else that money to make you feel better? You use that money for yourself and you have control over it. That will make you feel even more better. You don't owe anybody anything. There's no psychological pressure. There's not any psychological blackmail. Why are we working our butts off? Denying ourselves that one extra cup of coffee, but the same thing money we go and give it to somebody else and say, here you go, spend this money however you see fit, that will make me feel better. I'm not talking about voluntary donations. I'm talking about when they make donations like this to cults and to churches and all this. Where's the sense in that? How often, somebody answer this question, okay? Here's my question. How often can you say, how many people can say, I have been a member of this church or this cult or this organization or whatever, and I have become so famous and I have become so rich because of this cult or because of this church or because of this organized religion. It's because of them that I have become so rich and so famous and so whatever. You can truly only credit them for your success. Truly. You are not allowed to take any credit for your efforts or whatever. You had no role in it. You just joined them, and because you joined them, you became this. Somebody answer that question. That's bah humbug, y'all. Seriously, it's bah humbug. I'm not going to say Tom Cruise became so famous because he's a Scientologist. Whether Tom Cruise became a Scientologist or not, that was his trajectory in life. He was going to be famous anyhow. So if somebody is going to say Tom Cruise became who he is because of the fact that he joined Scientology, Scientology may have helped by default clearing the paths, opening some doors, that sort of a thing. But you cannot attribute all that success to that organization. Freemasons, can you truly attribute every single success to them? No. By becoming part of that inner circle, they are all people with power, and so doors are open. You have a little bit better of an opportunity at succeeding and winning a contract or getting to that position. It's all about power. It's power, it's power, it's power. You come to me, you sell your soul to me, I will open doors for you. So now, by default, you're bound to me. So I have control over you. How I utilize that power is a whole different game. Are all Freemasons bad? No. Are all Scientologists, before they became all of that, they were human beings. They had some lack in them, right? Something was missing. So to fill that void is when, and it's those people who end up joining all these organizations. Whatever that void may be, that void could be a lack of power, wanting power, needing to belong, wanting to be acknowledged, wanting to be respected at the same level as a peer, or maybe just plain greed. So please, I saw an interview recently of I think one of 8 or 9 people who were the survivors from the Waco thingy, that Qureshi's thingy, and he's in Australia now, and they interviewed him. And I think in the end, I'm not saying verbatim, he did say that he really does feel that Qureshi was a good person, and that he was going to, if Qureshi was still there, he would have still been with Qureshi or whatever. And I'm sitting there thinking, I mean, that clearly was a traumatic experience, right? So many people died. Qureshi was a child molester, okay? And he had polygamy or whatever that bull crap, and you are standing here and telling us that if Qureshi came back, you would still go back and you would still be with him? Like, dude, come here, let me smack you on the upside. What kind of it speaks about your mind, it speaks about your mental state. You're showing your true self out. So don't come and sit here and cry and have the sob story that, oh, this and that. No, ding dong. You are of that mindset. How could you be so, in spite of you were one of the only 8 or 9 survivors from that incident? We all know how bad that is. Even till today, they show it on TV or whatever, the whole drama, there's a whole series or whatever going on over there, right? How can you stand now and say, oh yeah, you know what, I'd still go back and do whatever? Like seriously, dude? Like seriously? You yourself acknowledge. He says, yes, there was abuse going on. Yes, I have seen, but people knew, people acknowledged, there was talk, there was this, there was that. And you stand here and say that? You're also one of them, so shut your mouth and sit quiet. That's what I have to say to people like that. Don't come back and cry and say, oh, that cult leader did this and did that. I understand if children get sucked into it, because children, at that age, they don't have a choice if their parents are going, because your primary caregiver, we trust them implicitly that they are looking out for our best interest. So as little kids, if we are taken into Scientology or pushed into Scientology, any one of these cults or organizations and groups, I don't hold those people responsible, because they're children. They do not have the capability of making those decisions. They're kids, they're minors, they are dependent on somebody else. I blame the adults who are responsible for the kids to be pushing them into that. Okay, but how many of these kids who get sucked in have subsequently, when they've grown up and come to their senses and been able to figure things out, have said, I'm out of here? So many of them, right? Very few of them stay. But the ones who join in as adults, for the most part, stay there, because then at some point in time, the equation changes and it becomes like a codependent relationship. So, what are we talking about? So Paultus's work too, okay. I don't know what that is. Carry this, okay, I saw that. It was my husband, praise to you, okay, thank you. Well, you've come to the right place. We will all help you get through this. But remember, Punky, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Sure, I don't know why bad things happen to us, but there is a reason, okay? Hello, Kirtana. JR says hello. Hello, JR. Do you think that cocoa butter trick might work for my brain tumor with my headaches too? The brain tumor gives me I don't know, Kelly V. I have no idea, honey, and I'm not a doctor, so please seek medical counsel. Yes, he was hiding things. There you go. Like a babe, see? No, it was money. June 16 to September 4th is hard on me. My daughter and dad's birthday is in June. I lost okay, I see that. Condolences, Brenda. No, it was about money. Okay. Kirtana, look at Punky messages too. We need to reach out to her beautiful people. She had a hell of a year. Punky, send me an email. Okay, send me an email at therealtarot1123. Absolutely send me an email and I will respond that. Okay, I fear the living. L. Ron Hubbard, yes, wait. Sherilyn is right. Scientology was made by a science fiction. Yeah, thank you. Waco went so wrong, but it had to end. Absolutely. Some people have very weird thought process, true. Yes, L. Ron Hubbard. Children were burnt alive. I know. But I'm not going to say children were burnt alive by the feds, because in reality it wasn't the feds who started the fire in Waco. The fire was started inside by people inside. That I disagree. So again, it was on my heart to tell you this. I'm so sorry you're still suffering so much. Yes. Punky, send me an email, honey. Seriously. Do not own victimization. Own your power as a survivor. Thank you. Such powerful words I haven't heard. Thank you, Grace Green. Quick question, Kirtana. What sign are you? Just curious. Texas Patriot. I'm a Sagittarius. I was born on November 23rd. So I fall within the cusp. If I do Western astrology, I'm a Sagittarius, Capricorn rising. If I do Eastern astrology, I'm Scorpio, Sagittarius rising. So I'm just me. Maybe that's why I'm a hot mess. Look at all this. I woke up in the morning and I haven't even changed, y'all. Seriously, I'm sorry. I'm wearing the same shirt since I was wearing yesterday, because like I said, I had 1.5 to 2 hours of sleep, and I brushed my teeth, washed my face, and I said, put all this crazy hair back, try not to scare people. So yeah, cusp. So I still say finance. I was only, a couple of hours, I don't know what that is. Brenda Chick says, thank you, Kirtana. You are such a fascinating person. I love your channel. Thank you, Linda. Children are the biggest victims. Isn't that sad? The Jim Jones, yes, the Waco, the cult that brought new kicks, yes, they put a purple cloth over their faces and isn't that, well, what the hell? Am I going to send you a picture? Okay, do that. Yes, Brenda, can anyone see me? Amberly Rose, we see you, honey, we see you. Thank you for joining us. Are you doing okay? Because now I kind of sense that there is something there. Amberly Rose, I don't know what the issue is, but Amberly Rose, something there with Amberly Rose. I don't know what else she said, but yes, we see you, honey, we see you. Chances, faces, LOL, just barely a Sagittarius. I don't know, barely a Sagittarius or whatever. So, like I said, depending on which astrological chart I look at, it's like I'm a Scorpio Sagittarius rising or Sagittarius Capricorn rising. So, I think about it. Sagittarius is Jupiter expansion, go bigger, and then Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, is like restrictions. So, can you imagine the struggles I have? But I'm not complaining. Look, at the end of the day, I've been blessed with a good life. Yeah, there are trials and tribulations. Somebody had commented, you're so lucky to have Mark. I've had my struggles as far as relationship goes. Like I said, I was married for 18 years before I said I was good. Parted ways, and yes, I had dated a couple of people, and it was not necessarily a good experience. There was no violence or anything like that, I'll tell you that, but oh God, anyhow. But then I always, I never in a million years would have believed that I would have moved to Texas. I'm Southern California girl, man, and where am I going to go, right? SoCal is my place, right? I always say, certain things transpired and I was brought to Texas, and I truly now believe that I was brought to Texas for the sole purpose of meeting my significant other, Mark. I seriously believe that. Ways of the universe, right? So let's see. I love your channel. Thank you. Okay. I'm a Scorpio, November 8th. My sister was Sagittarius, December 20th. Okay. I don't understand how people can be brain. That's the saddest thing. Who says that? Lisa Hogan. Lisa, here's the thing. It happens. Like, for example, if somebody is going through a slightly depressive state for whatever their situations in life are, right? So, if you are a really strong-minded person, then strong-willed, you would not, that whatever the situation is wouldn't affect you so deeply as it would somebody else who is not so strong. And I'm not talking about strong as in, you're a lesser human being because you're mentally not strong. No, some of us are very sensitive. We're just not equipped. We're wired that way. We cannot deal with things at the same way certain other people can deal with. Some people, their saturation point is higher, some it's lesser. That sort of a thing, right? Your immunity is higher or lesser depending on how you are wired and how you popped out into this world. So for those of us who are a little bit more weaker that way, and I don't say it in a bad way, it's easy for us to be impressionable. We are very impressionable. We absorb. Somebody did something here. I have to acknowledge it. Wait, who's that? Grace Green, thank you, Grace. I appreciate your contribution and your generosity. Thank you. And please know that I appreciate you just being with us as well. So I do appreciate you. Thank you so very much. That is very kind. Thank you. Amberly, what's your question, honey? Amberly had a question. Okay. Texas Patriot. I woke up half awake, half asleep, but I could control what was happening. The scenery looks psychedelic. So I woke up. Have you had this? I woke up half asleep, half awake, but I could control what was happening. The scenery looks psychedelic. You must have had a out-of-body experience, or where you asked. See, here's another thing. Let me answer the question really quick, and I'll come back to that. Not some people they are able to project astrally, but then they don't know that they're doing that, and they don't know what it is, and then it ends up like this, like, what is it? What did I really project myself astrally? I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it is. Amberly, send me an email and I will definitely answer your question. Absolutely. So there's more to it than that. There is more to it than that. So please send me an email, okay? I don't want to be detracted from what we're talking right now. So when we go back to talking about, how some people get suckered in, when you're in your weakened state, you're more likely to attract good things and not so good things too, right? Automatically, when you're in a weakened state, it's easy for other people or other elements or other energies to come and intrude into your energy space or your life and to take control of you. So it's a very sad, unfortunate thing, but not every one of us are equipped to deal with these things, from a really strong standpoint and not let it affect us negatively. So people tend to gravitate towards these things because they're seeking answers, they're seeking help, they want to understand. It's like, I don't know how else to deal with it, so they may not acknowledge it. Subconsciously, they're actually seeking for assistance and help. Having said that, there are a certain group of people. Let me drink some water. This big old cup, this steel thingy. My son was laughing. He's like, "Mom, what is wrong with you? There's so many like crockery glasses and cups and all that. Why are you sticking to the steel thing?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just like it." So, anyhow, where was I going? With people who get attracted to these things, right? There are a certain number of people who are of the same mindset. They are not necessarily weak or are looking for answers or subconsciously seeking assistance. They are automatically drawn to the same kind of thought process as Elron and the Scientology people and all these Waco people and whatever. Because keep in mind, when you go back and look at all these cults, it's not just that one individual. He may have started it, but invariably there's somebody else who is a second in command, who is not necessarily a victim. That second in command is also somebody who has the same beliefs and thought process, because they attract that kind of people, they attract that kind of energy. So there are a lot of people who naturally gravitate towards these kind of cults and stuff because they themselves are wired that way, and they themselves, here we go, politics. Why do Democrats stick with Democrats and Republicans stick with Republicans? Because the thought processes are the same. So it's like that. Okay, sorry to bring politics into it. That's the best way I could explain it. And it is sad. And then there's always a second in command, right? And like I said, second in command doesn't necessarily have to have first been a victim and therefore now by default you become second in command. It's not necessarily like that. And I blame the government to a very, very large extent, because the government should crack down on these cults. The church is a cult. Any organized religion is a cult. I'm telling you, y'all, come at me. I don't care. This is my opinion. Take it or leave it. You're entitled to your opinion, right? They're all cults. C-U-L-T-S. Why is the government not cracking down? Okay, why is the government not cracking down? When the government can go and crack down and shut down companies like Enron, shut down companies like Theranos, do all that stuff, right? They are again organizations, right? Doing nefarious activities. Why is the government unable to go and shut down the church? Tell me that. Openly, the Vatican, Roman Catholic Church, has spent billions, B-I-L-L-I-O-N-S, billions of dollars in lawsuit settlements for sexually abusing kids in the church. Why hasn't the government had the ability to go shut down? It's an organization, right? The church owns so much property, so many businesses. They generate so much of revenue, so it's really a business. It's really an entity. It's a company, right? Yeah. So why hasn't the government gone after and shut them down? Why hasn't the government said, let's talk about the US government, because we are US citizens, we can talk about our own government. Why hasn't the government said, you know what, we are disbarring this particular company, this organization from ever functioning again? After all these years, they got to Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey, they were able to bump off Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, he was murdered, he did not commit suicide. Why isn't the government doing anything about the church? It's blatantly obvious. For years and years and years and years and years, we have read, we have heard cases. People have come out, they are saying how they were abused and this and that. They have settled, they have hushed them up. It's a business. The Vatican, the church is a business. I'm specifically talking to that because America is a Christian country, okay? So don't get me wrong. So why hasn't the government, any government agency said we're going to shut these guys down because this is what they're doing? They will never do that because church and religion, church and government is not separate. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. Funds will be transferred for political purposes. There is that. We as general public, there is so much that goes on that we are not privy to because power is knowledge. If the general public is given the knowledge, given the information of really the kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, there would be an absolute civil war and uproar. So the few who are in control will always protect that. Then we can get into conspiracy theories. It isn't a theory. Yeah, some conspiracies are just theories. But it exists. It does exist. You think in their own way this church is not making contributions to certain, political organizations and all that stuff? Yes, they are. Ek minute, aati hu. Yes, they are. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me just deal with it and come back. Hang on, 1 second. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, y'all, I have to have wearing the same clothes I was wearing yesterday. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. I need to go take a shower after I'm done this, and I will. So I hope I answered that. I hope you all kind of understood that a little bit. I don't believe in churches at all. The time I ever saw the Pope scared was after Trump met him. I will say that about Trump. He didn't give a flip about the church. I know even though some days are hard, okay, okay. The people who have the power to do something don't have the ethics of the... Thank you, Inabag. Thank you. All churches, absolutely. Every organized religion. Tiaki D, hello. Good to see you. Kelly, Texas, do you think you're astral projected or maybe sleep paralysis? Did you see colors or maybe your third eye is beginning to open up? Which it can if you're gifted. Yeah. Okay, they're having a conversation over there, so I'm not going to get into it. So I don't know, y'all. We can go on about this whole subject of religion and faith and all that stuff. It's some of us, we need to belong to something to validate ourselves and our existence. Is that good or bad? I don't know. To each his own. But churches are non-profit, so they don't have to pay taxes to the government. Yes, they're going to come out with anything radical because the government has them in the... Yeah, absolutely. So, and it's like... Tiaki Day, hi Tiaki. So... And the government is also going to turn a blind eye and they're going to say as long as I'm getting, the government will shut them down if they weren't getting a piece of the pie. Thank you, Lisa. That's what I was just about to say. Did you all see this whole political case that was going on about some church somewhere, I don't know which part of America, and again I'm not trying to be racially profiling, but this is I'm not even going to use the word gentleman because he's not, and it's on somewhere. You will find the video of it, his deposition, his court case and stuff. You look at that guy, y'all. Okay, he's an African American individual who started this church and one of those micro churches or whatever those churches are called, and misappropriated so many funds, and so much nonsense happened, and finally something happened, and he was scrutinized, and it ended up becoming a court case. They have had body language analysts, you know, who FBI and all that stuff, those guys analyze his whatever in court and all that. I mean, even a lay person who has no knowledge about body language can look and say, this fool is looking at the camera, looking. Did I just see another whatchamacall? Or I think I saw something. I actually saw something here. I have to look at it later. So, whatchamacall? He's like in court, he's sitting there with the judge and the attorneys and all that, and he's like blatantly looking and lying. Like, it's like, dude, like, what are you smoking? And they did the forensic accounting, they did this, they did that, and even though they're saying, look, here's the proof, this is your signature, this is your bank account, this is this, he's like, no. I mean, it's floating around somewhere, and I don't know, I think he ended up getting prison time or whatever because of all the nonsense he was doing. And people die, they like, take my money, like, what's wrong with you people? What's wrong with you people? It's like, what is this? Are we still talking about Kelly stuff? It can take us further. I don't know what. Okay. So let's focus on this. Can we kind of put a lid on that particular strain of conversation, people? Because we're kind of going off of focus. So let's focus on what we're talking about here, and let's have comments come in regarding, you know, the subject at hand. I think I had made it known in a couple of videos. Yeah, this is an opportunity for us to communicate with each other, but let's not hog the comment section just with one strain of thought or one particular subject at hand. Let's make this an open forum for everybody to be able to discuss, right? Of course, at a later date, you can add your comments at the bottom after the video and take that way. Don't take it the wrong way. I just want to kind of keep the focus on the subject at hand and not get distracted, okay? So hopefully you will understand and appreciate that. So one more thing I was going to say. Any of you all have any specific things, like send me an email and I'll tell you whether, hey, I can just answer your questions, or no, you know, do a reading and yeah, you don't pay or you pay. We can take it from there, and that's different. So, do you all want to still continue, or are we done? I don't know, you guys tell me, because if you all have had enough of this mugshot and my voice, then I'll log out, because it's like I don't want to kind of keep annoying. You all tell me, or do you all want to keep going? Do you all have any questions? Do you think, okay, we're not going to, okay, you know, agree, okay. The government, yep, okay, we are not. We love you too, Paige. Dalisa, Kelly, I've never done, okay, we got that. Whoever, I mean, please, y'all, I'm not mad at y'all, I'm not angry with y'all, and I'm not like a school teacher going and saying, students behave. That's not it, no, not at all. Please don't, please, no, please, okay. I think there's a lack of communication, that's the thing. Like, I'm not mad at any one of y'all in particular. I'm just trying to bring our focus back to the subject at hand, that's all, okay? Just because I also get distracted, like you saw me, like I saw something and I'm like, wait, what's going on? I need to step in now, I'm curious, I want to know what that's all about. So I myself get distracted, so that's the reason why. So please, y'all know I say it respectfully. I understand this is an opportunity for us to communicate with each other, and yes, it kind of gets difficult, right? I get it. But I want you all to talk. This is an open forum, but I don't want to get distracted so much that I'm like, let's forget religion, let's talk about something else. And I clearly got distracted myself, so I'm not mad at any one of you all, and please know that I'm not trying to kind of be a control freak and say, oh, you can't say this and you can't say that. That's not the issue at all, okay? Okay, do you love doing, Karina, if you're asking me whether I love doing what I'm doing, absolutely. I could be here all day, everyone here is absolutely, I mean, you all are just just chances, fate, since you are never annoying, hilarious but not annoying. Thank you. Yes, absolutely, Lisa. You can believe in a higher power without having to go to church. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for loving this. Doing okay, love and light. Thank you, Miriam, Nieto, Tiaki. Thank you. There are a couple of people that I don't see here. The regulars. So, y'all have any questions for me now? Because I don't even know how long we've been on for. Yeah, for 3 hours now. Good Lord Almighty. We identify with point and get stuck. Yeah, it's natural, right? Like we start talking and then we get kind of deviated. It's natural. I'm not mad. I'm not upset, and like I said, I'm not trying to be the school teacher, like say behave, or I'm going to give you like homework or whatever. That's not it. I was reading those comments and I got distracted. I was like, what's going on there? Like third eye and this and that. Those subjects interest me, so I want to know too. But I know the moment I start commenting here, I'm going to go off squirrel another direction. I don't want to do that. So anyway. Something new and wonderful is about to happen. Should I chase it or let it happen? Trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. Kim Russell, if trust your instincts, if you have that energy, that feeling, go for it, right? Absolutely go for it. We mean notice why some people bring up. Yeah, that's true. Interesting things. Absolutely. Thank you for being so understanding. Listen, Texas Patriot, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at anybody. When she was talking about the third eye chakra and all that, I was getting sucked into that myself, because I enjoyed all of that, and I'm trying to control myself and saying, let me not get into that because I'll forget all this. Like I said, you know me, right? It's squirrel and go off 20 different directions. So that's why I was saying, let's keep the focus, really. So please don't be mad at me. I'm not trying to be a control freak here. I mean, not at all. Okay, so did you get the vaccine? I think Miriam, yes, I got the shots because I had to travel, and the prerequisite for international travelers was I had to get it. So yes, I did. Does the Vedic or Western astrology describe your personality better? Off the topic, LOL, what is your favorite food? Okay, I will ask. Yeah, now I think we can kind of chill and talk about all this. That's fine, karma, right? Okay, so the question, I don't have any religion, but I believe in spirits. Joshua Robinson. Thank you, Joshua. Welcome. Thank you so much for your contributions. I do appreciate you. And more than that, I appreciate, your generosity is appreciated, but I appreciate the fact that you're here with us. Wait. Okay. Texas Patriot God, I gotta love you, girl, because you, all of y'all. And I'm so happy. I hope that you don't misunderstand me. I hope I don't come across as being some freak, control freak, stern psycho. I'm not. Okay. Miriam Nieto, yes, I had to get the shots because I had to travel internationally, and the prerequisite was I had to do that. So yes, I did. Does the Vedic or Western astrology describe your personality better? It's basically the same thing. But then again, it's like a little bit of difference because the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, etc., that sort of thing. So when you look at the time zones and the planetary positions, it's like reading the same material by two different authors. You're going to study chemistry, and chemistry is about one particular set of equations. It's basically the same thing, but two different authors have their own ways of getting to the answer, that sort of a thing. Get it? So Vedic astrology, some people are hardcore believers. They say Vedic astrology is absolutely perfect, and some people are like Western astrology is absolutely perfect, and I resonate with it. For me, I have noticed that my personal chart, the Vedic astrology makes it absolutely, like, yes, that's me to a certain extent, and the other half I'm like, the Western astrology makes more sense. So it's a give and take for two, but I most often do both. When I do astrology charts for people, I do both because I want to see this and this too, because there's information from both, and then you see what traits are most applicable to that particular individual, how well they match with it, and I go with that. But again, this is weird, and this is a long drawn answer, but really not an answer. Vedic astrology is 100% correct in its own way. Western astrology is 100% correct in its own way. The methodologies are different, how they do the charts are different, like for example, north node, south node, etc., etc. some particular strains of astrology don't consider that. Some astrology doesn't consider, astrologers don't consider Pluto, all those things. So it's a weird answer, y'all. I'm sorry if I'm not clear, but did you, okay. Then does the Vedic or Western, okay, off the topic, what's your favorite food? I'll tell you this, I really enjoy spicy food. And what I mean is by spicy food is, see, there's a difference, right? Spices really to me are like cinnamon and cumin, and all that is really what spices are. And heat is of course from your hot chili peppers type of thing. I enjoy all this hot chili pepper stuff, and I also enjoy all the flavors that spices bring, like cloves and cinnamon and garlic and ginger. Well, garlic and ginger isn't really a spice, right? So I enjoy those kind of flavored food. As far as cuisine concerned, I am very open. I will try anything at least once. But there are some things I'm a bit squeamish about, and one of those things is I'm not too keen on octopus and squid and all that stuff. That's not my jam. I'm not going to go off to Mongolia and eat eyeball soup, because when you go to Mongolia, they do not waste. There are a lot of cultures where they don't waste any part of the animal that they slaughter. They use everything, because they are saying that animal gave up that life for my sustenance, so I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to utilize every part of it. So when you go there, their custom is, and I don't mean to gross you out, people, I think it's Mongolia, somewhere over there, where they utilize even the eyes, they eat it and they put it in a soup, and then if you're a guest in the home, they honor you and they give you that, and here you are, you're like, there's an eyeball staring in my soup, and it's very difficult for people to accept it, and because you don't want to disrespect them and say, you don't ever want to do that. But then again, it's like the ick factor, because you have never used this, you have never eaten it, tried it, tasted it. It's a mind block, mindset, whatever. What is the other guy? Not Anthony Bourdain, there's another fellow, he's a bald guy. He goes around the world experimenting foods, but he does all these weird things like eating insects and worms and ants and all that. I can't do that. But I hope I answered your question. Like, I'll try mainstream food. I had a very, very interesting experience. I had the pleasure of going to Hong Kong, and on my last trip to Hong Kong, just before the Chinese government took over, I had a project there. I had a team of people, and we had finished the project. It ran for almost 3.5 months. Okay, and the last day was a Friday, and we decided the weekend we were going to stay there, and we were going to enjoy the weekend, and then Monday we were all going to head back home. So we went out in the street, and of course we were partying and all that stuff, and Hong Kong never sleeps, at least then it never slept. So on Nathan Street, walking down there, they had all these people selling stuff, vendors on the street, and I love roasted water chestnuts. I do enjoy it. So one of our locals over there, who was like a sort of guide, kind of company guy, but kind of guide, and he spoke the language over there, and so I said, what is that? It looks like water chestnut, I want to eat it. And we were a group of people, so it was my team, so I was responsible for all of them. And so he was talking to somebody else, and he didn't actually see what I was. So because I walked across the street and I bought it, it looked like water chestnuts under the street light, middle of the night, right? And they make a paper cone, right, out of paper, and they put it in that, and I'm walking, and this, that, and the other, and he turns and he goes, where did you get that from, ma'am? I said, that guy. And he goes, oh, I didn't know you like things like this. And I go, yeah, I love roasted water chestnuts. And he looked at me and he goes, roasted water chestnut? And he goes, that doesn't look like roasted water chestnut. And I go, yeah, it is. And he kind of didn't know what to say, because I was a senior, right? And I was a senior in the company, pretty senior to him, so that little bit of hesitancy. So I suppose he said, oh, I better shut up or I might lose my job. Of course, I wouldn't have done that to him. And so and then he's like, are you sure? And I said, yeah. And so I put one in my mouth, and it was crunchy and it was nice, and I couldn't tell the difference. And yeah, I won't lie, we had just gotten out of the restaurant, and I had a drink. So I'm not much of a drinker, but I did have a drink, and like I said, I'm a super lightweight. I have half a glass of wine, and I'm like, I want to sleep. That's it. So alcohol isn't my jam. So and we were celebrating, and that euphoria and this multi-million-dollar project we ran it to completion, and everything worked out fine, and everything was taken care of and resolved. So, celebrating. And then as I'm walking down the street, I'm looking at my cone and the street lights, right? And I see something move. I'm like, oh, it's a water chestnut moving around, rolling around. I pick it up and I eat it. But I never stopped to think that the water chestnut was really, really tiny. It wasn't the regular size of a water chestnut, right? And so I walk down, and again I see something, and I go, oh my God, what is it? And this guy, who was our company employee but guide type of guy, I'm like, hey, what is this? And he goes, ma'am, that's not water chestnut. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, that's not water chestnuts. And I'm like, what the heck? And then he also, you can tell he's a little bit skeptical, because I'm so senior to him. And I said, what is it, man? I mean, tell me, what is it? And he goes, those are roasted beetles. Oh my goodness, y'all. Jesus. I about lost it. I completely lost it. Okay. So I completely lost it, and I was like, this is absolutely, of course I trashed it, and I was yuck, I want to wash my mouth, So another experience I had was when I went to New Orleans, again, finished a project, celebrating, 3:30 in the afternoon, we walk into a restaurant, and we all sit with a group of 7 or 8 people, and I'm like, please, everybody's looking at the menu and they're ordering. It's not lunchtime, it's not dinner time, but we're famished. We're like, we'll pay extra, just cook us some food. And on Bourbon Street, actually, and then the waitress comes out and she says, what do you want? She takes everybody's order, and I said, whatever your chef can make the fastest, because I am hungry, I need to eat 10 hours ago. So whatever you can make the fastest, just bring it out to me. I'm okay with it. So she brings out this plate of dirty rice and vegetables and meat on a skewer, right? Like 2 skewers. And y'all, I snuffed it down like I was starving. Like literally in 5 minutes, my plate was clear. It was a lot of food. I wiped my plate. So everybody ate and whatever, and they were like, mad, like, how did you get your food fast? I said, I'm hungry, and I told her, whatever you can cook the fastest, get it, whatever. Maybe they make a particular quantity every day and keep it, that particular dish. I didn't even know what it was. I ate it, I enjoyed it, so she came out with the bill, and of course I was company money, I had to pay, maintain the receipts and put it in and reimburse, you know how that is. And so she asked, so did you like your food? I said, yeah, what was it? It was so good. And she says, gator meat. The food was so far gone down in my belly, I couldn't even bring it up. Okay. Now, gator meat is a delicacy. A lot of people enjoy it. A lot of people say it tastes like chicken. Everything tastes like chicken. But for me, it's a mindset. I can't eat things like that. I kind of don't enjoy it. So that was my spiel about food. And yes, we did get off topic. All trying to help each other. Yes, please tell me, didn't have to. What? Wait, what? Kelly B. See, this is how I get distracted. Hi, Pandora Sparks. Biker Babe said night. She probably had enough of my gabbing. But thank you, Biker Babe, for joining us. Bedtime for me, my friends. All right, y'all have a good night. I would have barked right there. Oh my, you got to try something new. Yeah, hangry, yes. Didn't have 2 testicles or something. No, I haven't. Lisa, good night. I understand if it's not from the farmer garden law. Yeah, okay. So I think I should stop, right? Because everybody's feeling sleepy. Listen to me, Gab. Oh my God, I've tortured you all enough today. So I'm going to say, of course, I need my glasses. So thank you, and have a great night. Yeah, I'm trying to type. Okay, so I was baptized and raised in the Catholic Church, but things changed after 1991, losing everyone close to me back to back, and there was nobody left. That can be quite hard. Mary Nieto says, love learning about you, Kirtana. You are very down to earth. So I'm going to log out now. Carol Little, it's been fun, everybody. Amber Lee Rose says, I've enjoyed listening. Thank you. every one of y'all, Kim Russells, Fabiola Flores, Punky Juarez, Paige Moore, Texas Patriot, Honey Bunches of Oat, Texas Patriot. You know how much I appreciate you, right? And I appreciate your emails. Thank you so much and for your support. All of y'all. Isabel Florence, good night. Lisa Hogan, good night. Chances Faith, good night. Oh, thank you. Grace Green, thank you. Cheryl Schaffner, thank you. All right, you guys, over and out, right? Delvin H, it's been good to spend time with you all. Sweet dreams. Brenda, take care of your health, Brenda. Take care of your health. All of you all who are having health issues, focus on your health. You're the most important person in your life. Take care of your health. Okay, love you guys, over and out. I'm logging out, okay? All right, bye everybody. See you all. Ending the stream, okay? Bye. All right. Tia